right now on Full Custom Garage.
It's this guy over here.
Master Metalman Ian Roussel looks back on the best builds of Season 1.
When we first started the show, I didn't know what I was getting into. I got to do a ton of different projects, and I met a lot of really great people.
He's just a guy that can take nothing and build it into something. That is phenomenal in my book.
So it's the typical story of somebody's project dream car that just got in over their head.
And you're gonna save it.
That's what I do, sir. I'm here to save the day.
Hot damn, she loved it. She really, really loved it.
It's way cool.
I'm really glad he did this project. I didn't expect to see what I saw.
With every project, I'm always trying to do some crazy stuff, you know, really push the envelope. Sometimes that gets me into trouble, but that's the fun part. One of the first projects I did was for my friend Bill. We took his 1948 International truck cab and we put it on a modern roll-off chassis. Not the easiest thing to do, a lot of heavy metal. The truck needed to be wider to fit on the frame, so I started with the front fenders. So we get this cab set up on the chassis, and it looks bitchin'. I'm really happy with it. Bill's big concern is getting access to this engine. He really likes the idea of the old school trapdoor style hood. I think we should just go bigger. The whole plan here is the nose of the truck, the hood, the side panels, the fenders, the bumper, the lights, the kitchen sink. The whole deal slides forward and gets out of your way. You want to check the oil? There's nothing stopping you. I helped out on a build of a really cool truck, showed Bill a bunch of pictures of it, and I think we could use the same formula for this, just upsize everything. We need to get this so that it's a sliding mechanism. I'm thinking like trailer hitch stock. It's like, see how you got these two square telescopic tubes?
Oh.
If we just had some generic material.
You know, I have some tube down there on the pipe rack that I want you to take a look at that might work for that.
That's the stuff, man. So my idea for the sliding tilt nose, I got this trailer hitch receiver stock, and he has the interior section for that. See, it's different than the standard stuff because it's got rounded edges. So it slides on there pretty nice. I thought I'd take the rust off, but that seems like it acts as sort of a bearing. So this will be incorporated to the truck frame, two of them parallel, and then I'll cut two sections of this off, and the whole nose will slide forward, and then there'll be pivots here. So it slides off of the front of the truck and then pivots up. It's a telescopic square steel tube. It's super strong. I have a feeling it's gonna work out perfect. Everything's simple in concept. That's the realm I thrive in. Making it happen's a different story. This concept needed a lot of fabrication on the understructure just to get to the mock-up. I never built a tilt nose on a truck this big, so I needed to see it in action.
It's just damn heavy.
That damn heavy. Par for the course. All of this work, I finally get the thing ready to tilt, and it's stuck. Bill's standing right there. It's just perfect.
It wouldn't move. It wouldn't move. And I went back to the, damn, it's so heavy, we can't do it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, now what?
When you got 5 million welds, your percentage of some attaching themselves to the cab is increased, so in the end, that's what happened. The thing would not hinge open because it was welded shut. Like that. And it'll pivot up. Like that. There it is. You got a tilt nose.
It is just awesome. Really cool. Everything I hoped it would be.
I was going for the KO, but I hung in there. I was bobbing, I was weaving, ducking, pulled it off.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears by that young man right there.
In the end, the truck worked out great. The thing I like most about it is the front view. Obviously, we know the fenders are widened, but you don't think that when you look at it. You just think, what a frickin' big truck.
There's not one thing I would change on this truck. I love everything about it. A lot of that is due to Ian and his persistence and his fabrication. It's a multi-functioning truck. It'll function as a flatbed truck, a dump truck, a van, does everything.
Bill's truck turned out to be one of my favorite builds. The biggest satisfaction comes from the fact that it's a real working vehicle, and that's cool. Another project I did was a super custom 1964 Bug. It was based off a toy car someone gave me. One of the coolest custom pieces was the headlights and mounting brackets. These headlights are pretty crazy. They're actually pieces of spun aluminum that I found in the scrapyard. So I really made this whole unit. I had some glass lenses and I made everything else. They're seal beam bulbs that I glued in behind these antique lenses. So they're 12-volt high-low beams. They look like vintage car parts, but they're handmade. Really badass. The other cool feature is the way they mount on the car. So it's a round tube. So they're adjustable up and down. You can move them in and out because you'll see when you steer, it's very close, like so. And when the hood shuts, these strange little shapes clear the hood. You could really see the difference when we pulled it next to a stock Bug. I really loved the stance and the radically chopped roofline. The thing I like most about the chop in the roof is just the radical nose-down look of the whole thing. At first, I was building the car for myself, but I listed it for sale, and that's how I met Mark. He became a good friend and a long-term client.
Wow. That's crazy. Just crazy, man. My name is Mark Hayward. I'm from a little town outside of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Thought we'd come all the way down to California and meet Ian and pick up that beautiful little gem we got sitting over there. Oh, man.
But I fit. You're about 6'2", right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is gonna be all right, man. So this car here, I mean, I basically bought it sight unseen. It was just spur of the moment type of thing. Like you say, we corresponded on email, and he said, well, maybe you're interested in this Volkswagen I got. I mean, how could you not? Just taking one look at that thing. It's phenomenal.
Not only did Mark buy the Bug, but he brought another project for me to work on.
Oh, yeah, I got something for you. I brought you something.
Okay, I heard that there was a little treasure in the trailer.
I got a little treasure in the trailer, all the way down from the frozen north.
Whoa, what the heck is that thing?
That's a 51 Henry J.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen one. That's crazy, and it has no trunk. What kind of car doesn't have a trunk?
We have lots of projects, both Viv and I, and I'll never get to them all, so it's like, okay, let's give one to Ian and see what he comes up with. And if it's anything like that Volkswagen over there, we're gonna get a pretty nice hot rod out of this. Seeing his work, you know, through the video, seeing the car now in person, yeah, I mean, I trust him 100%. I think it's just his creativity, and it gets down to his hands, and that's what he can fabricate and do. So, yeah, I have full faith in him to turn that project we just left him here into something. He's just a guy that can take nothing and build it into something. That is phenomenal in my book.
When I first met Mark, little did I know I would be working on some of the craziest projects, and this Henry J was just the tip of the iceberg. Next, I got started on Mark's Henry J, and it was all about chopping the top. It got pretty technical, but I knew I wanted to retain as much of the rear roof as possible, so I started in the front and worked my way back. I got the A-pillars all finished off. I'm committing to this chop. That's the height of the roof. I wasn't looking forward to cutting this roof and making it wider, but I think I'm gonna have to. I started looking at it, and I found that this drip rail was actually tapered. So I think I can use this to my advantage. It looks like the drip rail is straight all the way through the door, and then right at the B-pillar, it starts to taper in. So if I was to attach the B-pillar, trim it, and pull the rear of the roof out, it'll go straight right back through. It'd be easier to cut the drip rail off, but by leaving that, people are gonna think it's a stock part, and then they're gonna start wondering. So that's what I gotta do, cut the whole roof, lengthwise, back to front. I thought this chop was gonna be a walk in the park. I told the client it was gonna be like the VW Bug I made for him, and that was easy. Oops. You never know what you're gonna get into. The only way through it is to keep moving forward. So I'm just gonna cut up to the B-pillar. I'll probably do a little relief cut on the inside and see if I can just twist it a little, but I have a feeling I'm gonna have to go all the way to the front. This is the thing I'm unfamiliar with. I'm just feeling it out. I'm gonna make a relief cut on the inside of the structure and then just zip the sheet metal open and see when it moves. This is really delicate because in pulling this panel out, it could buckle the drip rail, and I'm really trying to make it look right. That's the hard part. It's gonna work. I don't even have to cut ahead of the B-pillar. I just put a trim on the back side of that structure, and this guy will pull right over. I really lucked out. Made a couple cuts, I pulled the thing, and it snapped into place like it was meant to be. Yep, that's why I get paid the big money. Pretty cool. The thing is, it looks easy because I just cut it, but I've cut a lot of cars. I know how these panels flex, and that's why I made this decision. I'm just gonna weld it on there now, like I meant to do it that way. The cuts in the roof turned out to be a lot smaller than I thought they were going to be, and that was a huge relief. From there, it was just a matter of filling the gaps with sheet metal and finishing it off. This kind of work is really tedious, but it's the end results that really show what the effort was from the start. I think the end result with this chop was that it's very subtle. Could have gone really radical. It looks good from every angle, and that's what I was really trying to accomplish. My friend Don, his wife Patty's birthday is coming up. He wants to get her something really cool. Her family has a long history with dune buggies, so he's thinking about putting together one for her.
It's going to be a total surprise for her. Growing up, her dad had a Myers Manx when they first came out, and my wife had a lot of good memories with that dune buggy out at Pismo and some of the desert areas with that.
Don is a car fanatic. His wife is a little more conservative. She's always wondering what he's doing over here. He's got 6 million cars. I think that this dune buggy might seal the deal. It might win her over to our side.
It's just going to be epitome of driving around in something cool, you know, especially done by Ian, because he's so creative.
Ever since I started this project, I've been thinking about the engine. Searching around at Don's, as usual, he's got so much stuff. I find an electric motor for a forklift. Just in a pile of parts, you know, there's this electric motor, there's a bunch of switches, speed controllers, just electric stuff. It just got me thinking. I mean, an electric dune buggy, nobody's got that. A lot of my ideas seem pretty crazy at the time, but actually pulling it off is the big challenge, you know? It's almost like there's a Jekyll and Hyde scenario. I had to make this electric motor work with the Volkswagen transaxle. I tried to make the simplest possible coupler. I used an old clutch disc and just welded it to a couple pieces of tubing. That fits the Volkswagen transaxle. What do you think about that? It's gotta work. I'm going off the standard VW gearbox, so it has a neutral, which is perfect. I don't have to worry about the tires spinning. So it's kind of a safety mode. I'm just gonna hook up the motor and run it, see what happens with no stress on it. It's such a bummer. It seems like anything that can go wrong will. This electric motor spins the reverse of what a Volkswagen engine does. That means we have 4 reverse gears and 1 forward gear. It's in reverse now, which will make it go forward. It's something I need to figure out. Yeah, there it is. I'm not gonna get caught up in the fact that reverse is forward. Sometimes things go sideways for me. It's still gonna move. First gear is here, and then second gear. The electric motor was only gonna spin one way, and that was backwards. So I put the car in reverse, and I made 4 different voltages that spun the motor at different speeds. And then with 4 batteries, you'll have 4 gears. Should go 1,000 miles an hour. I finished it up, painted it, and took it for a quick test run before I showed Patty. And it cruised great. I think it came out pretty cool. I couldn't wait to bring it to Patty and see her reaction.
And here is your birthday present.
Oh, I like the red.
Hot damn, she loved it. She really, really loved it.
It's way cool. I like that it's sparkly, and I like the red. The pinstripes and everything on it is really cool, draws a lot of attention. It's way cool, I like it.
I think my favorite thing that Ian did with the car is going electric with it. I think that is just way cool, and it shows how talented he is.
It's really cool to drive. It's a lot of fun. I love it!
The cool factor about this whole build was that Patty's family was into dune buggies. I mean, for years, like old school when the thing first happened. So to restore this original Survivor and give it back to her, it's like it came full circle. We're in Ventura, California. It's the Chopper Fest. Just looking around, see what's happening. I got a couple ideas of a bike I want to build, and I'm just seeing what's out there. Seems like the bike world's taken a couple turns in what's popular with style. For me, the 60s, 70s, the chopper thing that was going on is really the core of it. A big part of the chopper scene were these straight 4 engines, Hondas, Suzuki's. Denver's Choppers was building frames for these kind of engines, and I just think it's cool. I want to take that element of a really long bike, but make it a 3-wheeler. Trike conversions have always been popular for motorcycles. It's really hard to get style into this 3-wheel design, and I'm just gonna push my skills and try to make it happen. This project was all about the look, so once I got the engine and frame kind of figured out, it was really all about the seat and body shape. This bike has a solid rear end. It's a rigid, it has no rear suspension. I need a comfortable seat. I was looking around for seats, motorcycle seats, horse saddles, wheelbarrows, anything. You know, it just occurred to me, I've been sitting working for 10 years, 8 hours a day on this freaking work seat. I think it's perfect. I want the seat to be right on the axle. As soon as I put it in place, I was like, wow, it's low back, really wide. It's perfect. With the seat in place, I wanted to start building the fenders. Here is an improvised arch maker. I need to create a radius around those tires. There's a lot of ways to bend tubing. Sometimes I just do it primitive. It works for me. Weld the end, flip her over, and roll out the barrel. This rim made the ring too small, so I'm just gonna stretch it out on this tire. It's always easier to open the arch up than to try to shrink it down. So the idea here is to get this to be about just a ½ or an inch off of the surface all the way around the tire, kind of like here. So all you do is just start to beat on it. It's right about there. This puts an even ½ perimeter all the way around. You can see it swings down and then out and then back around, and it's all one panel. In the end, I'm gonna paint these fenders so they look like some kind of a carnival freak show. I want it to look like you're locked in on some kind of a wild ride. The whole thing with this is to look like a giant toy. It looks like a big wheel. It's one thing to think about a project, but to see it right there, it's great. It's what I live for. It was fun to take it to the Born Free show and see that other people were digging it too. Hot rods are a purely American thing. They started with early Fords mostly, 20s and 30s Fords. As I understand, GIs came home from World War II, they wanted to go fast. These were made from cheap cars that were just sitting around, just waiting to be hot rodded. These cars are really desirable. They're making fiberglass reproductions, all steel reproductions, so to find an original surviving all-metal body, that's the best starting point.
Ian and I have been friends for a while. We've worked on several projects together. He gets excited coming over here to see all the projects that I have. I like things a little more simple, and Ian's way more creative.
This is like ideal hot rod material. It's a little bit too far gone if you needed to restore it. All the mechanical parts are junk, but for a hot rod, this body is really good. One of the more unique things of this build was the roof. Every Model A has a hole in the roof. Can't get around it. One of the cool factors is it really gives you an opportunity to kind of make your mark. I've been looking around all over, trying to figure out what's gonna be cool. Don's got a bunch of van roofs, he's got car hoods, car trunks, all kinds of stuff. Looking around, I come up on this Mustang hood, and it's pretty thrashed. This is a '69 Mustang hood. The car got wrecked. I cut it out about the same size as the roof opening in the Model A. It's got a neat crease down the center, and it's worthless as a replacement hood. The contour fits, and it's got this cool little detail in the roof. The selling point to me was the ridge in the hood. The ridge in the hood immediately made me think of a 50s trick where they would put these little air vents in the roof of the car. So that's really what I was hoping to do. I mean, I already had this thing built in my head.
When Ian was gone, I went ahead and I got some LED lights.
In my absence, the hood scoop, this great styling element, has become a third brake light. Very interesting.
I like the practicality of the safety part of it because the car sits fairly low, that I think that's going to work out really good.
He wired some wires up through the body, and he put these LEDs inside. In the end, it's all about craftsmanship. You know, that is a very custom third brake light.
Oh, look at that. Boy, somebody will see me for miles away. Perfect.
At the end of the day, Don was really happy. He's got a cool hot rod, and he loves to drive it.
I'm really happy with the way this whole build went because the car is easy to get in and out of. It's a nice car to drive. It handles well, it corners well, it stops well, and the wife can get in and out of it well. I'm just so tickled. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything more, or a person of Ian's caliber to help me with my own personal project.
The whole thing about 50s customs is the style, the flow of it, the silhouette. It's really an artistic thing. What most people are trying to do with these cars is make them look better than stock. Everybody has their opinion, and that's why no two cars are alike. My friend Bill had a 55 four-door Oldsmobile. The initial idea was to freshen it up a little bit, but of course, as things went along, it got a lot more involved. First, I chopped the top, and Bill really liked it. Seeing the roof 3 inches lower, I know I nailed it. But standing around looking at it, it just needs something else. I've already gone this far with the chop. It's a great-looking car. I think its value has increased. If I go for two-door conversion with the chop top, this thing is solid gold.
Ian now wants to turn this into a two-door. I really don't want this to turn into a big, huge project. I said to him, if you can do it in one day, great.
We're on our way out to Riverside, California. Found a guy who's got a 55 Olds. It'll be perfect for this four-door to two-door conversion I'm working on. Hopefully he's got the parts we need. Right on, I think that'll work. He had all the parts we need. We were able to cut off the backside of the door pillar and get the two doors, and also scored a new bumper. These doors were a lot longer than the original front doors, so I needed to see what it would take to make them work. Four-door to two-door conversion, it ain't easy, but I gotta do it like right now. I just gotta prove to Bill that this is gonna work. Fortunately, I got the door jamb from the parts car that matches these doors. I know some of the dimensions are a little bit different, but I think I can pull it off. A couple bolts and the door fit. If this door didn't fit, I think we're going back to a four-door. I just assumed it would fit, and we lucked out. I used the stock rear door to complete the quarter panel, and Bill and I decided on a two-tone paint job. This car just needs something to put it over the top. I called my friend Scratch in. He's the best pinstriper I know. I think he's just gonna finish this car to perfection.
You know what? When I first saw the Oldsmobile, I'm walking up the hill to the shop, and the Oldsmobile's sitting there in the middle of the shop space, and it just kind of brings me back. It's very nostalgic for me. I like that they hadn't changed the grille or anything just yet, and then they chopped the roof, so it already it has that look of, it's kind of fast, but it's elegant. Don't mess with me.
Scratch really likes Oldsmobiles and traditional customs. I knew it'd be perfect to pinstripe this thing, but Bill was a little skeptical.
What's your thoughts? I'm thinking kind of conservative, probably by your standards.
Well, I'm super conservative. I know that's hard to believe.
It is.
It's actually really hard to believe, but it's this guy over here.
He's the wild man.
Scratch just explained what he had in mind, and Bill was totally on board.
Oh, a lot of people don't know this, but pinstriping actually was an art form that was made up to cover up bad bodywork. So striping's always in the same places, in the front of the hood, in the middle of the deck lid, and that's where the emblems and stuff had been shaved off, and then over the headlights and over the taillights, because that's where they would French the headlights or French the taillights. But later on, custom bodywork was taking so long, people would have their cars at their shops for so long that they're like, let's just get a stock car, lower it, and do a panel paint job on it. Like, has a stock original paint around it, we'll just tape it all off and spray another color, or we'll tape it all off and just do striping around it. And that's basically what we're doing.
I really like the pinstriping. It's subtle, but it came out great.
Got the car finished up and on the road, and Bill was super happy.
You know, with Ian, every time I get him on board, none of these projects are simple. This was a huge, big undertaking. This thing was really rough, and he did a marvelous job on it. Just take a look at it. He really walked the last mile on it.
I love the way this Oldsmobile looked when it was finished. It was pretty classy, nothing too crazy. Always cool to see a nice old car on the road. This next project was one of my own. It's a 1949 International Harvester Metro van. It's a delivery truck that I put on a modern pickup truck chassis. This episode was all about the interior. I've done a whole ton of work on this van, but for any cool custom van, it's all about the interior. And if you want to have a party in here, this stuff ain't gonna fly. I gotta fix it. The thing I like most about this, it's just funky. You don't see them. I've had VW buses since I was 15. I've always loved them, and this is like a big brother to a VW bus. It's like the next bigger size. It's able to tow. It has a good V6 engine with a manual transmission. It's the same idea as the VW bus, but rarer and cooler. My whole concept with this is like a dual-purpose vehicle. During the week, it's a work truck, and on the weekends, it's a play vehicle. I want it to be able to convert from work truck to camper pretty easily. I called my friend Bob to give me a hand.
Ian's working on a project, and he said he could use my help, and so I thought he'd come out and work with him again. Every time I get the opportunity, I'd love to come out.
This is the start of the rear deck. The whole idea is these panels are gonna fold up and become the walls of the van when you're in work mode. And then if you go camping or whatever, this is actually a big mat. It's a big bed you could sleep on. I'm gonna work on fabbing up the structure out of angle iron. I came up with some material that could act as hinges, so Bob's gonna build the hinges and I'm gonna build a frame. This is a really simple barrel hinge design. It's just a solid shaft that fits inside of a collar. Bob's just cutting a bunch of blank pieces and making sure they pivot right.
Since we're fabricators and body men, we don't like to go to the store and buy hinges when we can make them.
I need some material for the walls. They're gonna be upholstered. I had a couple acrylic sheets, plexiglass. It'll work perfect. You could use pretty much anything. It's gonna be covered with vinyl in the end. I just cut it to fit and put a couple screws in it. What do you think, man? You need a couple bean bags, a few bongos.
Cooler, full of ice cold beverages.
I really thought about how this was gonna work, and I decided by butting this frame up against the door jambs, when I lifted them up, they were gonna clip into place, and it worked.
I'm really enthused about getting to work on it, and I'm really glad he did this project, for himself. It's something really, really nice.
The van's together. I got the airbags in, it's a driver. The big secret it's hiding is it's my old work truck. It's a 1988 GMC pickup truck. From the radiator to the gas tank, I modified the whole thing and put this international body over it, so it drives like a modern vehicle. It's got a Vortec V6 with a manual 5-speed. Airbags all around. It's a bitchin' ride. I chose this kind of oxblood color vinyl for the interior because I just thought it would look rich. The exterior of the van is pretty mellow, but when you look inside, it's pretty special. I spent a lot of time on the structure of the fold-down walls. I wanted them to be very usable, so this whole hinge and steel mechanism I came up with has proven to work well. The whole concept with this van is its usability. It's not a show car. So the back is set up to load and carry whatever, or you can hang out in it. That's the whole idea with this. It's a utility vehicle. I still have this van. I'm kind of glad I didn't get rid of it because my friend Rich Evans is going to use it for his vintage flats paint company as a display vehicle. One of the craziest projects I did in season 1 was for my friend Victor. He wanted to make a custom bubble top for his 1962 Thunderbird. I'd never done it before, and creating a bubble that big turned out to be really difficult. In order to do it, I needed to build a massive oven in order to heat the plastic. Big challenge trying to figure out how to heat this thing up. I'm just hitting walls with it. I'm talking with Victor about it.
And he said, well, we need some igniters or elements. I said, I got some perfect elements. Let me just finish cooking my steaks.
I guess his family barbecues a lot. They have big family events. go on vacation. They do a lot of motorhome camping, and they got these 2 huge commercial barbecue grills, and he thinks that it's gonna make it happen. Victor and I share a lot of the same characteristics. I think this barbecue thing might just be too much. He's convinced it's gonna work. All I have to do is prove it. Each grill has 2 propane tanks, so we'll have 4 5-gallon propane tanks, which should be plenty of capacity. As long as these guys get that volume of air warmed up, it should work. All you can do is try. We're either gonna have the right amount of heat or not enough. We'll see. They make some heat. Let's put the lid on. In keeping with the low-tech approach, I've got some plumbing pipe, a simple gauge, and some air fittings. The idea is to just create a controlled air source to inflate this thing. Target temperature for this is 375 degrees to get the plastic that hot. I had the idea that this laser thermometer would be a perfect way to check out the temperature, and yeah, the readings are consistent. It's heating up, and it seems like it's gonna happen. Pretty weird. This huge sheet of plastic, as it heats up, is starting to deform. It's getting like all wobbly looking, and just putting a little bit of air pressure in it.
Ian just strategically putting the air in and heating it up, and I walk up out of coming from a project that I was on, and I said, Ian, crank it up. Let's take it to the limit.
Yes, Captain. Taking it to the limit, as requested. That didn't work. Shut her down. I turned my head for a second, and it was like, what was that?
Within 2 minutes, the thing started tweaking and blowing, and I could see the look on Ian's face, like, what the hell did you make me do now?
Shut everything off. It's gonna melt the plastic real bad. I quick turn around, peeking in the hole. I can't even see what's going on. I'm seeing sheet metal. I don't know what's going on because the whole thing appears to have collapsed. The whole thing's collapsing. I don't know what to do. I stuck my arm back in the oven to hold the thing up and kind of get a look, and it's just destroyed. We gotta lift the lid up and see what went wrong. It looks like the metal and everything tore right out of the roof of the box. It tore off the lid.
So we actually damaged and warped the first mold. I said, just crank the pressure on, and that was the wrong thing to do, but hey, it's a good story.
This thing was twice as big before this broke. So what happened was we lost air pressure and it shrunk. What a bummer. To most people, this thing looks like an utter failure. I'm gonna work through it. After it got destroyed, we rebuilt the mold and made it a lot stronger. Typical Victor style, he wanted to push the whole thing further and make an entirely new shape. The good thing is this is working just like all the rest. The heat's even, the thing's inflating, it's looking good. Oh, the front, look at this. Amazing. We're there. I can't push it anymore. I'm gonna raise it up. It's the moment of truth. Oh, we got it, man. Look at that.
Yeah, see, that's what I was looking for.
Everything looks great. It's back into shape. The whole idea is to just cool it off, raise it up out of the box, and unclamp this beast. I took this 1/2-inch MDF board and created a series of templates off of the bubble Victor liked most. I spaced them out 8 inches apart, made a whole bunch of support to withstand the pressure of this bubble pushing against it, and fastened it to the backboard. Getting the buck off of this thing really revealed that it was a successful idea. This was uncharted territory, and the result was ideal. It's pretty crazy. But the real tell is going to be how it fits on the car. That's what this is all about. This car has been in the works for a long time. It is a concept car. It's gone through so many phases of development, and now to have it finally wrapped, I'm stoked.
The car came out amazingly, beyond my expectation. On the bubble top, the interior, this is a total custom build.
The bubble top is next level.
The car is, like I said, a piece of art. I mean, the car is a masterpiece.
I saw Victor pull in the driveway with this thing. It's like, get out of the way, mister. I want this car.
Well, Ian, when he came in and seen it, all of the ideas all came together, and he was impressed.
The thing drives up and it looks like a spaceship. I wish it didn't have tires. You open the bubble top and the interior is just going off. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in there.
I'm ecstatic, he's ecstatic with it. Everything flows just perfect.
The first season was a ton of work, but I'm used to that. The thing was the great unknown. We just threw it out there to whatever might come in the door, and it really was a great time. Little behind the scenes thing in season 1 was that I got my shop inspector, got my #1 dog. Think you can have a snack and then just mosey on out on your own accord? I was super nervous about having some kind of responsibility, and it's turned out to be a really fun time. The coolest factor about having the dog on the show is that that's reality. It's really just him and I hanging out in the shop. Hey, you're not the center of attention. This is my show. It's like baby pictures, right? You can sit here and boast about your accomplishments forever. But, you know, it is what it is. He's pretty damn charming.
Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel takes on a wild 1970s Boonie bug.
I've got this strange vehicle sitting around the shop. Victor comes in with these plans, and I've got the parts to make it happen.
I got a nursery on a major highway in Los Angeles. We need to build some kind of marketing vehicle that we could drive around.
But Ian's eccentric client isn't gonna make it easy.
And then I looked at it, I said, wait, I'm gonna be driving a box around with my sign on it.
I think anything could happen from this point on. It's gotta be a spectacle. There's no rules. I'm totally into this.
As the build progresses, Ian and Victor try to take the project to the next level.
I was thinking of, hey, I'm gonna throw a wrench in the fire on this guy. But Ian outthinks me.
If he wants to push it to the limit, okay, I will. My friend Victor is not the typical car guy. I've built more things for him than I can remember. Everything from custom cars to architectural elements. Nothing for him is ever stock. Victor comes in and he's all charged up. He's got this great idea. He wants to do another project, and it's a little different than what we've done before.
I know you don't use plans, but I even downloaded a set of plans. I want this thing just to be crazy. The other night I was thinking of a project that I need. I got a retail plant rental company. I need for my nursery to have like a little car spectacle, something that, just something like people would see like, what the heck is this thing?
If Victor wants a spectacle, he came to the right place. Yeah, I've seen pictures of this thing. I never knew what the heck it was called. So it's a little utility van, basically. I think the coolest factor about this whole build is it's like a 70s kit car, you know? And this is one of the things I've seen pictures of, but never seen one.
When I brought it to Ian, I knew he would make this thing work.
And they give you all the dimensions
all
and the
dimensions,
specs.
but remember, like everything we do, this means nothing. This means someone has built something like this, so ours cannot be like this.
I think we're gonna take these plans and funkify them. We're gonna go full disco. I think it's gonna be cool.
I don't know what can we use. I don't know what kind of foundation or what is this.
This bust that I have has already been shortened, so it just might work out perfect.
Cool, dude.
See, somebody already cut the whole thing in half. They shortened
That's perfect, man. Yeah, no, now I get what you're talking about.
This is a 1968 VW bus.
So, Ian, I got one question. What the heck were you thinking when you bought this thing? What were you gonna do with it?
This isn't mine. This is for another client. He's almost as eccentric as you. So, I mean, This looks like a crazy clown car, but we got plans. My friend Mark brought this down from Canada. He's got a project that I'm building for him, and I'm only using the external sheet metal. So we're using the leftover parts. I'm gonna use the shortened chassis and modify it, and I just think it's really cool that nothing goes to waste.
You're probably gonna have to lengthen it though, right?
I think so. This is too short. The main thing with this chassis is that it's all intact. I'll lengthen it and just come up with a couple dimensions on the body. You come back when I get this thing all chopped apart and we'll go from there. Let's cut it apart and make it into something better. I think anything could happen from this point on. He's got a set starting point, but who knows where it's going. Well, I'm just gonna cut through and see where it goes. Thank you, that's enough. Go on. See that? It's like slicing a loaf of bread. Same concept, only bigger. This isn't like a Beetle. This thing is heavy. It's obviously had the commercial vehicle in mind when they made this. It's some heavy metal. That must be why it was so hard to cut. You can tell this baby's got a lot of miles on it, but it's still ready for the road. It's our new flexible chassis design. It smooths out the bumps. This thing's ready to rock, baby. Fire it up. It's an old Volkswagen. I don't know what's going on. It rolls around, but it's easy to fix. That's the whole thing. The thing that's bugging me now is these snow tires. Picked out these tires and rims because they got that kind of old school look with the white letters. This is essential because, you know, you can start drawing your lines of what it's going to look like around the final tire diameter and width. So obviously it's looking like some kind of weird contraption. Put a little something on it. Get us in the direction we're going. This bus was driving around on snow tires and some weird worn out radials. So putting some kind of a custom rim and the low profile tires really adds to it. It's the typical hot rod formula. You know, change the rim and tire combo and it's a whole different ride. That's way better. And then I'm gonna cut the chassis and stretch it, figure out the wheelbase. But it's a good first day. I'll get this thing set up, talk to Victor when he gets back here. I think first things first, I've been looking at these plans and just trying to come up with a starting point. The cool factor in this is that I'm actually building the body from scratch. It's a super simple design, but I haven't done this yet. And that's really the thing. Looking at the way this thing is constructed, it was built out of panels of foam and then fiberglass. But my idea is to build a perimeter frame, like a skeleton, out of 1-inch square tube. It's gonna be way easier for me to just frame this thing out. It'll look kind of like a bird cage, and then I'll skin it with aluminum sheet. The whole idea with this frame is that I can really gauge three-dimensionally what the rake is on these tires, how this looks side to side. That way it looks centered on the chassis. Once I have the wheelbase established, it's all about the roof height, the overall length of the thing, and most importantly to me is the angle of the roof and the angle of the windshield. This tube will represent the roof height. See where we're at. See, that gives it a definite rake. First order of business was definitely the look of a chop top. So the idea of the tail end being way high and the nose being pushed down, it's just, you know, that's the look. It already looks like a spaceship. It's a total moon buggy. I think I'm going in the right direction. You know, some kind of sci-fi cartoon, extraterrestrial vehicle. It's got that funky disco vibe. Those are the parameters. I used the engine hoist in the back, so I'll be able to raise and lower the rear roof height without having all that clutter inside. If I was building something right to the plan, I would be measuring. I'm trying to use the plan as just a baseline model and then mutate it from there. This is like drawing in three-dimensional, you know? If you had a CAD program and took it back to the Stone Age, that's what this is. You're out in the desert, thinking about weird stuff, on a lunar landscape. You got the vehicle for it. So it's really not about measuring, it's just about checking it out. So I think the whole layout of this body looks great. I'm committing to this framework with the 1-inch square tube. The wheelbase has got to be lengthened, so I'm going to stretch out the chassis and to go forward from there. It's a unibody, so the whole body is a tube structure that supports itself, but as soon as you remove that other 3 sides of the tube, you only have the bottom leg, and it's just a springboard. So my idea is to just beef the whole thing up. Instead of a 1x3 rectangle tube, I'm gonna put a 4x4 square tube that's gonna go over both of these frame rails. It's gonna hide the mismatch in the dimensions, and it'll be super strong. Hey, look, Ma, no chassis flex. It's like a real frame. Now the suspension works instead of the thing buckling in the center. The projects I've recently accomplished with Victor were like all out, just go for it, and he was on board, so I'm really just trying to do something that kind of makes him stutter a little, make him rethink that crazy potential that I have to offer. If he wants to push it to the limit, okay, I will. This chassis is really coming along. The only thing I'm missing is the engine. My friend Larry's got a pretty hopped up dual carb VW engine. It's not just gonna be like a rolly cart, you know, it's a display. This thing's gonna pop wheelies, it's gonna do burnouts, it's gonna sound badass. Now that I got this thing pretty well along, I'm gonna go over to Victor's nursery and check out what's going on over there. I got a couple ideas that'll put this thing over the top. I don't really want to tell Victor what they are, I just want to see what he's gonna use it for. The whole deal here is there's a huge freeway adjacent to his property. So there's a gazillion amount of people that travel this corridor every day to and from work. The cool factor about Victor's setup here is he's always looking to get people to look, right? We built these crazy sculptures, oddball furniture, this wild dinosaur thing. What this car is gonna be, it follows suit with all those other projects. This is only 6 feet tall, and it's clear as day coming down the freeway. So if we get something more like that, maybe 8, 10 feet up.
8, 10 feet would be perfect.
Instead of just creating like another sore thumb type of scenario, I think I can make something really cool. All of Victor's work trucks are like high-end paint jobs, super nice stuff. He's a car guy. I think this vehicle should fall right in line with what he's got going on. Something a little more special than just your regular work truck with a sign on it, right? Spending a little time here, it's got my plan cemented. I gotta get back to the shop and make this thing happen. My whole idea with this project is to make the car look twice its size. I think the plan is to make the sides fold all the way up, and both walls will be signage. It'll be 10 feet tall, 6 feet, 7 feet long. I want the rear to hatch up, and I want both of the sides to hatch up. And I'm just gonna use this 6-foot piano hinge as the dimension for the side door. I'm thinking signs inside and out. That way, if you're driving around, it's obviously shut, showing off this cool paint job with a logo, but when you open up the doors, it's a giant billboard, straight up. That swings all the way up. And that becomes an area for a sign, too. It's like a sign. Now I'm gonna build out these 2 walls that will swing out. The whole thing with this vehicle is like a triple threat, right? It's driving around, it's looking so cool. When it's parked, it's doing the same thing. And then the sides fold up, and it still drives around. So it's a quadruple threat. It does 4 things really good. This should flip all the way open. Aha! Yeah, and it stands up, just like the back. So the thing that's distracting me is this is just a structure. This is all sheeted. The window's gonna be back here. So I'm gonna bend up some square tube, put in the window frame. I'm not making anything from other car parts. That's the typical formula. So it's really open for interpretation. butt it right up against there. The reason I made it out of this square tube is because it's all the same material, but it's also a bit of bracing. I'm gonna tag off a leg to that rear corner, and that'll help keep this door squared up through the most severe terrain. The whole thing is that it looks like it's moving, you know? You see a dancer and they're doing their thing, you take a still photo of them, they look kind of weird, not like a typical person standing there. And that's exactly what this thing's supposed to look like. I'm just gonna kick this back to here, and that'll be a support piece. The aluminum's gonna need something in the center. I'm not sure how I'm gonna rigidize that yet. I'm really starting to dig this thing. So far, it's kind of my wish list. Swing-a-dings, open. And then it's like ultra green, just like right here. Whoosh. I know Victor's mode, and I'm hoping he doesn't come in here and switch up the bill. I really like where it's going, but knowing him, it could just take a whole new direction. Gonna be a roof rack up here, platform, so I want it to be strong. So I put in cross braces every foot. Everything that I'm doing with this is blank canvas for Victor. I'm thinking there's gonna be something on the roof. I'm making it strong, a little rack, support the doors, and whatever he puts on top. I think the last thing I need to do before I show it to Victor is create this roof rack frame. The whole deal with this roof structure is to be strong. Victor has a track record of pulling off some stuff, and I want to make sure this thing holds together. The whole deal with working with this square tube is that I have a bender for it, it's lightweight, and I can move quickly. This is just gonna be on little legs that'll hold it down. It's just a matter of, again, proportion. How tall should it be? This ring is just like a top surround that you could strap things off to should you need it. They'll have 10 stands with 2 little rails supporting it. And that's the story. Victor's on his way over, and I just want to show him one more thing as like first concept, and that's the front bumper. Reminds me of my days as a shepherd back in the Nom. Just gonna cut off these 2 ends, fuse them together.
Hey, Ian, what's up? When I first walked in, as usual, more was done than I expected. I love the way you angle that thing. I've been thinking and dreaming about this too since I left. I said, I want to put, you know, kick the angle down. I didn't know it was going to be forward or backward, but you're reading my mind.
Instead of the doors like the plan showed, the whole wall is open like that, both of them.
That's
and then
amazing,
it says
yeah.
ultra green. So when you park it, that's a sign.
I was thinking of, hey, I'm gonna throw a wrench in the fire on this guy. I'm gonna have him make something raise up because I want my sign to show. And I come in and you raise up the door and my signs go there so the guy like outthinks me.
This was exactly the response I was hoping for. He was really charged up about it, and that's why I needed to get this thing to a full frame skeleton. You got the whole concept, there's nothing to question. I got a dual carbed 1776 hot rod motor from my buddy. This rear opens too, so you can get in here and throw whatever you want. So this all comes up.
Yeah, no.
So this is how it looks. It's open. There's just 4 pillars.
And people could see it from farther away. But yeah, no, that came out crazy, yeah. Looking at it, everything flows right on. How's this gonna look with the windshield? Is this gonna be too squarish? We talked about a few things, changing a few things, just round this a little. Change the window around, round off a couple corners. This maybe might have to kick forward a little.
Victor's like quality control. He picks out the sore spot and remedies it. So I'm all on board. He says curve the front end, and I agree with it.
Then it's a built-in little visor, and you got a visor already built in.
The main thing I got today was the go signal. Victor came up with a great recommendation on fixing the roof line in the front, and that's it. There was no other improvements. I'm gonna cut this pillar off, and reposition it, it'll come back like this, and this will have a nice curve. It's identical to the roof rack. I'm gonna use this 1/2x1, so I'll have the same side profile, but I'll be able to jive this up at an angle that will splice in there, and I may even take this and curve it, because this is gonna be like a curved panel, so it's like a little privacy shield, you know, like blinders on a horse. It's pretty spacey. I think this is gonna work. This is actually gonna taper that thing in a little bit more, so it will have this little curved front to it, but this wall is going to curve in, and I think that works. It's gonna come right around the corner like that. No hard breaks in it. Working with Victor, he's got a great sense of style. This window detail is the perfect example of that. I wasn't seeing what he was, but I think Victor made a good call. You can see that this looks great. There's like a very smooth surface if you're looking at the light reflections, and that's what I'm gonna try to maintain through the whole thing. Up till now, this thing's been a skeleton, right? Just conceptual. I had a couple pieces of cardboard on it. Finally getting these aluminum panels in place, you see it. Three-dimensional thing. It's an object d'art. The whole concept here is simplicity. If I can just lay this on and it looks decent, we're done. I think this is gonna work. Close the door. It's not gonna shut all the way because I still gotta finish the bottom edges. But the whole idea is to get this thing looking like a space shuttle. It's very thin. I'm screwing it down, which is putting little pressure points all around each fastener. The idea of a mirror straight body finish is no warpage, right? So I'm trying to figure out how to keep this material under control. Once I got one door skin put on, I knew this material was gonna work. I had to figure that out. The biggest challenge was in the nose. There was a lot more bent panels up front than there were on the sides and rear. The steel's gonna be showing all through here, but 2 aluminum panels are gonna meet on these corners. So I gotta come up with a pretty clean design. The nose of that is going to be created in one piece, and that's a series of a number of bends. It's going to come out of the windshield frame, turned down. It's 1 inch out, 1 inch down, 24 inches pitching forward, 8 inches down, and then 1 inch back. So this thing should snap into place once the sides are trimmed out. So now I can mark where it's gonna fit inside this upright. By bending one panel up, it just gives the nose a nice smooth look. Trying to minimize the amount of exposed seams, no lapped over joints. Then I'll just finish the edges out. I like everything about this. These look a little cheeky to me. Looks a little like The Godfather. That's the only problem I'm having with it. That round bumper and those little jowls. But all in all, this is what I was looking to build. Just in time for Halloween. It's gonna be great. I always got a bunch of stuff going on. A while back, I worked on this project with my friend Stone. He called me. He wants me to come by and help him set it up for a show he's got coming up.
My name is Stone, and I am a metal fabricator and sculptor, and I build big, ridiculous things for festivals.
The initial concept is a series of sculptures that Stone did. It's called the One-Eyed Monster.
You know, the original state of the One-Eyed Monster was these small little sculptures that I used to hand make out of steel, and they were just little sculptures that I just kept showing in galleries.
He says to me he wants to build the most gigantic one-eyed monster sculpture ever, a driving 30-foot tall sculpture.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I know Ian and I know myself, like if there's any kind of thought in our head and it was like, oh, that would be cool, literally the next morning we will be not drawing it out, we will start building it.
So this is below the decks of the One-Eyed Monster, where all the mechanics and engine maintenance guys hang out. This thing's a full mutant. It's a 28 Ford Model A frame that I put a Mercedes-Benz rear clip, independent rear suspension, with the engine and transmission, and then it has a Chevy truck front axle.
One of the biggest, craziest reactions that I get, besides what it is, I mean, it's obviously like, wow, what is that? That's weird. But when you tell them that it's an actual car, or you don't even tell them nothing, you just get up in it, you start it, and you start driving through a crowd, and they're like, what the, you know, and you're like, exactly.
All the stone sculptures are like a spherical body, and to make it proportional to what he wanted to do, we had to build like a 16 or 18 foot diameter sphere. It's all aluminum flat bar rolled on edge to create a series of like pie pieces that form this huge sphere.
Ian's part, like one of his big parts, is like more of the stuff that you don't really, I mean, you see it, but it's inside the car. And that's transferring all of the controls from, you know, a 4-foot range up to 14 feet in the air and actually make it functional.
You drive it kind of pirate ship style. It's this huge A-frame, you're 15 feet off the ground, so all the controls and the steering are upstairs. So we made 2 lenses for the eyeball in the same way I was doing the bubble tops and taillights on the other projects. For these, I just made a round oven. We used the same barbecue style thing and just blew these circular ones as to Stone's specs. You know, he knew what the diameter of the eyeball was gonna be, and we just made a ring and a backing plate and inflated them.
It is actually kind of complicated because it's colored, but it's translucent. You know, you don't want to paint something because during the day it might look great, right? But at night, that will not look that great 35 feet in the air. You need to light it from behind. So even though this looks like it's all painted, it's actually totally translucent, so any light will penetrate any of this paint. We created our eye socket out of like stuff that we just made here in the shop.
Putting this thing together is a lot of effort. It's a full day setup, but the real reward is the sun sets, you get up in the cab and you're cruising around. I mean, just that, it's a really cool vehicle. It's totally fun.
It's worked out perfect. It's exactly what it needs to be, and that's the spectacle of this crazy thing that no one else has ever seen.
He's got the 30-foot one-eyed monster car, and I helped build it. My whole mission with Stone was to help him realize his vision, and it's the same thing with Victor. I set up all the puzzle pieces for him to bring it all together and make his vision come to reality. I'm really happy with the way this van is shaping up. Last couple things to wrap up before Victor gets here is a few minor details. I set up these wheel arches and rocker panels all in steel, and the last thing is to just clearance them out so that it steers. I want a really tucked look on these tires, but I don't want them to rub. It hits the bump stop just as it hits the tire. So I'm gonna finish up the wheel arch with this 3/16 round rod. That's what these grooves in the rollers are for, different size wires. You just crank it through and it makes a perfect even curve. So that's pretty much the story. I'll just do that to each fender well. And instead of having this flimsy metal with a sharp edge, now you have a nice rigid thing with a radius in it. But enough of the work. I want to get into the fun stuff. I cut up a bunch of pieces of wood flooring. It's going to be a simple plywood floor and gas tank cover. The idea is this is removable, so all the mechanical stuff is easily accessed. You can get to everything. The thing about Victor is I know he's going to want to go wild on this thing. It just, you know, I've been around him long enough. I know when his brain is thinking. And giving it to him in this raw condition, I think will leave a lot open for opportunity. If it's up at his place and he's looking at it every afternoon when he comes back from work, I think it's gonna progress into a way more developed state than if he's coming here with requests. This is more than a simple art piece. It's more than a simple stage prop. It's an actual driving Boonie bug. So it's gotta steer, it's gotta go, it's gotta stop. 5 years old, all over again. This is perfect. One more thing, let's put together a seat. So this is the stock driver's seat from the bus. And this base is just way too tall. This is gonna be more like a motorcycle seat where it's just a thin pad. You know, you're not hippieing out across the country with this thing. What this has done is give me one piece to fit up in the van instead of having a whole assemblage of tack welds and everything else. It's a bunch of square tube. I'm gonna spin it up into the shape of a seat and put some wood on it. That's what I'm thinking. Sort of like that. That's what I was talking about. Looks good, super strong, super simple. What do you think, Hellhound? You on board? Huh? What do you think? Look into my eyes. The whole idea with these wood inserts is it'll be easy to upholster. You'll see the metal frame, it'll be painted, and then these wooden pieces will just pop into place with foam and fabric on them. The idea is when you get in the vehicle, you can see it's pretty comfy. Somebody's a little shorter than me, their knee can be anywhere in here. There's headroom. It's actually pretty cozy. See, in this seat, it's exactly what I imagined. I'm really happy with it. I think it's a keeper. So my next order of business is to get the rest of these body skins at least, if not permanently installed, at least very mocked up so that it looks like a box, and then hook up the controls and drive it. Hey man, just finishing up the last bit of this stuff. Good to see you. I fleshed out the interior with wood, made a seat. All the controls are hooked up.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, and it looks like it's really comfortable too.
Yeah.
And it adds to the flow. There again, everything's flowing just the way I like it.
Victor came in and checked out the seat I made. Right on the money. He didn't have anything to say except yes. Now you can see the way I fit in it. There's headroom for me.
Yeah, no.
You're laying back and it's just enough. I got the steering all figured out. The clutch works. Brakes.
Yeah, that thing's gonna be a trip. It'll do wheelies, right? For a one-man operation, what this guy does, I come in every couple days and it's holy. This guy must not sleep because he did 3 weeks worth of work on this thing in a couple days. That bitchin' in front, I love that. Now, practicality. I mean, you know, we're gonna use this, go with the theme of the 70s, and we're gonna use like the shag carpet now. Maybe what are we doing? Maybe some kind of ice chest or some kind of maybe other seating or maybe fishbowl, who knows? I mean, what the hell?
This whole thing started as like a utility cart with some signage. And Victor is really excited about my design, and he's wanting to take it next level. Everybody's gonna look at it, man. I put it out in the parking lot just to see, and yeah, it's a total eye catcher. You know, it's one thing standing 5 feet away, but from the other end of the parking lot, it looks like a little space shuttle sitting there.
Well, that, and then
weird.
Once we throw these crazy colors on here and these lines, I mean, we have to, I'm talking 70s, man. I'll get you some bell bottoms, and then we'll be back at it again.
I'll just put 10 million screws in this thing, start it up, and I'll bring it over to your place. Probably be 2 days.
All right, let me know, and I'm ready for you. My boys are ready.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one. Larry says the engine's a turnkey runner, so I just kind of did my little thing, made sure the carburetor linkage was free, the fuel pump was doing its job with the fuel, and just kind of checked the oil and made sure it was ready to rock. I'd like to take one moment to thank you, Mr. Larry. It's a great engine. But yeah, it's a turnkey motor, just like he said. Before delivery, Victor requested that I put a rear bumper on it. This thing is going to Victor's for all the finished bodywork and paint. He set up a punch list for me. He wanted a dashboard, a rear bumper with a trailer hitch, put an exhaust on it, and just finish up the paneling and headlights. And I guess he's got some kind of garden carts that they'll pull around with this, so he asked for a simple trailer hitch. Doesn't have to be super duty. I just set up that crossbar that hits the old, well, what you'd consider the frame. And the whole thing with this cage is I'm not welding the engine in. See, it's got little sleeves, so these are welded in, and then there's a bolt that holds the whole thing together. That looks perfect. Well, you might remember my friend Bill's famous scrap pile. So I found this chunk of steel. It just had a giant hole drilled in it that fit the trailer hitch. It's easier to cut this thing off, believe it or not, than to drill a new hole through this heavy material. It's like you're at the store, they have those little racks for the impulse buyers. Bill's whole backyard is like that for me. When I welded this big old plate on there, it looked terrible. The whole idea is making it look cool, right? Little weld, little plasma cut, it's a winner. Custom trailer hitch. Once I put the headlights in, you could see, you know, it had the face, it's a happy car. These are like early Volkswagen bus and bug headlights. That was the whole thing. It was a VW kit car. I just like Volkswagens. I could work on a million Thunderbirds and it's like, see ya. You know, everybody's got their thing. This is a hand-built, Volkswagen-powered toy car. I mean, it's beach buggy, and that's cool. That's what gives it the character, man. Look at that, that's a happy car. It's like, Victor loves the project in this stage of finish. It's a blank canvas to him. You know, I was really concerned with the actual fleshing out of it, the building, and now it's time to get down and finish it up. All the interior details and then the paint. In an emergency, you will be warned. This van is going to be sitting around outside year-round. It's not going to be garage kept, so the air filters are directly exposed. Need something to keep whatever water out of the carburetors. Came up with a simple design to cover the top. It looks kind of like a little race car wing. Shrouds the side of the engines. You know, if you're driving by sprinklers, for instance, it's not going to go down the engine and ruin it. I guess the whole thing about this is it's a handmade piece of art, you know? Everybody's gonna dig it. Little kids, old ladies. It just looks like a giant toy car. It's gonna get a ton of attention. It's gonna make people smile. Victor's got his guys going for it. I guess he's got the buggy painted and he wants me to come over and check it out. Just like any custom paint job, this thing's all taped off. I guess he's done a lot of line work and everything. I can't wait to see it. It looks like it's totally 70s style.
Remember I told you we're gonna do this big old marketing thing. As I looked, I said it's gonna be marketing tool, but it's still gotta be cool. I started looking at it and then I was thinking 70s. In the core, I went beyond of what I needed to do for being a nursery golf cart / marketing tool. I took it to the limit of what it was. Instead of being just a square box, I said, wait a minute. I need to throw some lines in here. It needs to sparkle. It needs to be cool. You know, everything we build gotta be one-off, one of a kind, and over the top.
You got 3 colors, silver, gold, green.
We're still gonna put a clear coat on it, and inside the clear coat, we could add shades of pearl or metallic.
Victor was talking about some kind of panel paint job, you know, something 70s inspired. So as we start peeling back the tape and the paper, he's obviously had somebody who knows what they're doing lay this thing out. It's a pretty intense graphic, and I'm digging it.
And I had my buddy, Bob Kozlik, an awesome pinstriper. He came in, I gave him some thoughts, and he ran wild on this thing.
The only thing I'm wondering is, paint looks so good with patterns, where's the sign gonna go?
Just like you do to me, I have you do something, you change it up on me, I'm doing the same to you.
We're just peeling tape, peeling back paper, looking at it, and we unwrap it, there's no signage. I thought we were making a custom sign, and all I see is these wild line graphics.
I was thinking about that, and I was waiting for you to ask. Remember, the doors open up and the sign is there, but I had a brainstorm where, you know, the buggies have this whip with a big old sign on it. So it's something that when you're driving, the sign's moving and I could go up 5 foot, 10 foot, 20 foot.
This project started as an advertising scheme, and he's ended up with this crazy dune buggy van thing.
I still wanted a sign, but I needed the car or the vehicle or it to be cool. The it has this flag with my nursery ultra greens on it, and people are gonna go, what is it, you know?
Right, sure.
And I just say it's just a nit.
This thing is kind of an off-road vehicle at heart, and I think the idea of this flag banner thing is great. If you're out at the dunes, you're required to have a flag, and hey, it's representing the company. That's pretty cool.
Not only do they look to see the sign, they look to see this cool-looking vehicle and say, well, what is it? Well, it's a nit.
I don't know what Victor's talking about. I don't know what it is. This thing's a Boonie bug for 2014. I'm totally on board with it. He's got a great idea for this sign. Now it's time to just do the finished details. So to wrap it up, it's typical process for Victor. He's got his interior guy, Lino. He's done all his projects. The guy's an ace, and I think he's gonna be the guy that takes the interior over the top.
Then I said, okay, this is natural. This is a golf cart. This is a nursery cart. We need indoor-outdoor carpeting. So I said, hey, Lino, can you put this as carpeting? And he goes, well, yeah, he can.
I think working with this AstroTurf might be new realms for Lino's career here. I guess Victor still is on the whole Ultra Greens kick. I mean, he wants this to be representing the business, so he's got like AstroTurf inside, still carrying the green metal flake theme inside with vinyl. All the elements are in place, and I can't wait to see what happens. From the onset, I knew we were building something with 4 wheels and an engine, and he just took it to the next level, typical Victor style.
We had no idea what this thing was gonna come out to be. It's beyond my expectations. It's not a show car. The little nursery car took it to the next level. This thing gonna be all dirty and in the mud.
He lucked out with this engine. This thing rips. Everything has held together great. It runs great. I almost wish I didn't have to give it up. I was really getting attached to this thing. Being able to drive it on its inaugural run was really cool. Performed perfect. I think Victor's gonna take this thing more places than the nursery. So in addition to the paint, Victor went all out on the interior. He's got custom vinyl interior, two-tone, special seat, gold and green. He's got a custom steering wheel. They put AstroTurf inside instead of carpeting. I mean, this thing's looking good. It's buffed, polished, sign is on. This thing is a rockin', it's great. Our first idea was like some kind of a wagon with a billboard on it.
But you know what? I got signs everywhere. But the car itself is gonna make the statement. And we just added the signs on, and you could take them off.
It really shows that Victor's idea was a good call in the end. This thing holds its own just sitting there in the parking lot. It's got the same colors as his fleet, fits right in with all of Victor's work trucks.
The reason why me and Ian hit it off so good is he's creative, and we're just started.
If this was just a small project, then he's up in his game and he's looking to build something incredible. I can't wait to see what's next.
Oh, man,
yeah,
come
totally.
on.
You nailed it.
Come on. Yes. Dude, that is cool.
So this ain't no tail dragger. It's just some kind of funky, nose down, 70s freak machine. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
I'm bringing in my friend Johnny to collaborate on another project. Hey, howdy.
What's up, man?
The past projects Johnny and I have collaborated on are pure show car. You know, just these wild concept vehicles, and they came out awesome. One was called the Johnny 5. It's just a mutant front engine VW pickup. And another one called the Space Junkie. We're always trying to raise the bar, so it's set fairly high on the last collaboration.
I was super excited when Ian called me up and said, hey man, come down to the coast. I got this cool thing we're gonna work on. My skill set, of course, is just drawing crazy hot rod cartoony cars on paper. Then I get to watch this master of metal building these wild creations that were in my head, and it ends up epic. Under that tarp could be this wild creation that's already been done. It's already this amazing killer custom car that we're gonna now take apart and recreate, or it could just be a pile of 2 or 3 parts, and I'm just ready to see what's under the tarp.
My whole thing is get the artist in the house, no preconceptions. I like to bring the shock and awe factor.
Okay. Yikes.
It's a little funky, right? This is like a 1970s. It's called a Kellison Sandpiper. So it's a pickup truck dune buggy. It looks like this, but what it is isn't what it appears. We just have to one-up everything we've done so far. Johnny and I have been down this road before. You know, last time we started, it was like, whoa, this is incredible. You know, this time it's maybe not that much. As it sits now, it's not the eye-popping show car you read about, but I can envision it. This has got potential.
There's something here.
I tend to forget I need to get people warmed up to my ideas. You know, this roof comes off. That's why I called you here. Like, anything goes. You know, my other car, we cut it apart. I'm not married to any of this. Don't think about specifics of a bubble top or a dune buggy or whatever.
So you're not necessarily married to the classic dune buggy thing?
Okay. No, that's the thing. Full custom show car. My whole goal with this is like a nice, finished, high quality vehicle. I was telling Johnny, dune buggy isn't the key word here, it's show car. That's the end result. I did all the mechanical stuff, so it's basically a driving car as is if I put the engine in, and I stalled on it because I want to make something crazy.
Okay.
Something like no one's ever seen. It's not a dune buggy.
Still keeping it rear engine, I'm assuming?
It's going to be rear engine for sure. Anything goes back there.
And as far as...
The wheelbase is set.
So in my head, you know, I'm thinking to myself, man, there's not much here. What could I even bring to this? You know, that kind of thing. So I'm really gonna have to push the limits of my abilities.
My whole logic here is I'm trying to bring out the best in Johnny, you know, all of his creativity. If I showed him something again that was like a finished vehicle, we'd be running over old territory. Start with something completely, you know, straight in your face, nothing but potential, and just let him run with it.
So is there any more parts that you have for it? Like,
oh, if you're looking for something that has the feeling.
Yeah, that'd be, I mean, that would
help.
help.
I have this. My friend Bob gave me this porthole.
Okay. A porthole?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I have a dune buggy and a porthole, and the greatest artist I could hope to work with. So, I mean, what more do you need?
Last time I had a bubble and some fins
here's
and a
your
chassis.
Yeah.
And then you showed me a picture of a dragster.
I got other windows.
So he pulls out, you know, porthole, and then this long little window. And I have to remind myself, everything I've thrown at him so far, the guy's pulled it off. I'm ready for the ride. It's gonna be pretty exciting. So I'm pumped now. I'm getting the point, Ian. No rules.
No rules.
Whatever. Okay.
The whole thing with the pile O parts that I've set up for this is just cool things with cool shapes. It's a boat windshield. Maybe, I don't know. What else do you want? Just like the roof, Johnny could take these parts or leave them. You know, I have a couple ideas about this, but really, I don't want to tell you anything because I want to see what you're thinking. All you have to do is something cooler than what you did last time.
So there's maybe the challenge. I go as crazy as I can go, and how far can we push you?
Exactly. I ain't scared.
Okay, a little ping pong.
Right, exactly that.
There you go, it's on you.
So,
but it sounds a whole lot like it's on me right now. Ian's real clear about he's not married to anything on the car. The body can go, the top can go, the wheels can go. Whatever you want to do, Johnny, let's get it down and we're gonna build from this.
Just like the Ed Roth cars, if you look at any of his cars, it's basically just a big fiberglass sculpture on tires.
Right.
Same thing here.
With a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of cool stuff. One of my heroes in car building is, of course, Ed Roth. His vehicles were made primarily out of fiberglass. Even though they were vehicles, they were all sculptures in their own right, and I used that as kind of the beacon, or rather the excuse for what I do.
Colors, graphics,
yes.
Stands,
yes.
Wheels.
Yes, I need that. The advantage to fiberglass in this situation is we'll be able to set up a mock-up really quick. If we don't like it, it's quick and easy to modify.
I'm ready to do this. Let's, I say, let me get my stuff out and throw down a couple drawings, and then we'll go from there.
Johnny's talent is really taking all of this, potential that's in the ether, taking all the discussion and putting it on paper.
The hard part is, usually I do like a bunch of warm-up drawings, but immediately I'm like kind of like on the spot, like, hey, let's get this going. Like, you gotta draw a cart now. So that part's sometimes can be a little challenging. And I just think, okay, just let go and just try to come up with something kind of crazy. Too tame.
What I'm hoping to see is that surprise. He brings it. That's why he's back in the shack once again. I'm hoping to see a couple good ideas that I would have never thought of otherwise. You gotta remember, I'm West Coast, he's East Coast. Opposites attract, the peanut butter, chocolate dichotomy, two great tastes that taste great together. I gave Johnny some time to do his thing. He doesn't need me looking over his shoulder, like a manager.
One of the things that Ian made pretty clear about this particular build is we're gonna keep it fiberglass. It's a nod back to the godfather of customization, Ed Roth.
Focus.
There's the car as is. And I tried to do, here's the original type fender, and then if it was exact.
First drawing looks pretty much just like a dune buggy, and hey, everybody's got one. I'm looking to push it way further. From here forward, look, that's
Right.
the thing. The car is arching, right? It's like a thing ready to pounce,
Right.
which is awesome.
The first drawing was really some simple things that we could do to change the look of the vehicle, with still kind of a nod to how it already is. And then the second was a little more dramatic and trying to incorporate some crazy ideas. And then the third one,
oh yeah, let's see.
What about a van thing?
That takes this, and it's still a utility, but it's a panel truck.
Right.
And I get my roof.
And your porthole.
And the porthole.
These are really rough. They're not fine-tuned drawings. These are real rough. I guess the coolest part is that he's always like, nah, that represents what I see. I see that. He doesn't need this elaborate rendering. He goes, I like that, I like that, I like that, and already, it's already built in his head.
I love your idea of arching the fenders up so we can get the car lower. I think that's what we should start with, for sure. Let's do it.
Okay.
Hey, the board meeting's over here.
Yeah,
This
over
side.
here.
Come on, check this out.
What do you think? Oh, maybe he's afraid you're gonna use his dog dish again.
Could be a doghouse.
Yeah, the doghouse. It's the doghouse. Yeah, look, there's a spot for you. Okay. Approval? Yeah, okay.
It's not just a panel truck, it's a doghouse on wheels. So, driver's in the front, hands on the wheel, dog is in the back, tongue in the breeze. I think we got the green light on this project. All that's left to do is start building. I want to cut these open and then create your front fenders. I want to start there.
Were they really archy?
With that archy top,
Okay.
right. The thing that you did on your drawing is the hot ticket. Being that this front suspension is adjustable and I want it as low as possible, we need to get these fenders out of the way. What's happening is the fenders are coming down and hitting the tire at the ride height I want. It ain't gonna roll.
I came in pretty nervous, excited but nervous and not sure where we're gonna go. And now we're on to the next page. Now how do we take this and turn it into that drawing?
Aha! All right, now you do the same thing, but better. It's time to put Johnny to work. No free rides in this shop.
Boom. So you're taking that and you're gonna go out around that as well.
You can even see right here where it's rubbing, right?
Right.
You'll see. I got room to steer. One thumb. I want to make the most of my time here with Johnny, and the envisioning, the mock-up process is critical. When you're mocking stuff up three-dimensionally, it's quite a different thing. Form your fender shape that you desire out of that. Johnny's kind of out of his element here, he puts the pen on the paper, so I give him a couple envisioning tools, piece of TIG welding rod, and here, pull it, make some shapes, do as thou wilt, and we'll see how to make it better. It's three-dimensional envisioning. I love that, because that is that.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's all I would think is
Roll it back.
maybe just that.
So even more aggressive, a little more aggressive. Yeah.
Once Johnny has a line drawn, we're gonna take a board, we're gonna trace it, duplicate it, that way both sides are the same. So what I'm creating is a contour of the top surface of the fender. After it's all hardened, we flip the body over and pull all of this material, the foam, etc., out from underneath. And we're using some great stuff. Shake these. Shake them.
All right. We're laying down the spray foam stuff. Ian's going at it like a precision surgeon, real nice and neat and clean. And mine's this big blob of mess.
Stay in the center. You're too high. Stay in the center. Yeah, exactly. Thing is, when you're in the house of the master, there can only be one master. You are top chef. Look at that layout, man. This panel truck idea has got me kind of thinking about stuff. I'm gonna talk to Johnny and take him on a little field trip. So this stuff's happening. You know, I got an idea for the back. You know, all we need is shapes. So let's take a ride. So this is my friend Bill's back 40. I've got a lot of treasure from this location. It's about time for the full custom field trip. Johnny's gonna love this.
After a trek up the mountain, yeah, built for hiking, Ian goes, check out this ranchero with this camper shell on it.
We're not here for the ranchero. We're here for this camper shell, which is kind of unique, you know? It's like a pickup truck shell, but it's for the smaller ranchero. And it's in worse condition than I thought.
And I'm going, please tell me this isn't your thought of what we're gonna use.
But I mean, in proportion to the dune buggy, it just might work.
I mean, I think this would definitely be pushing your talents, man.
You know what my friend Victor said? You take doo-doo and turn it into diamonds.
Well, there's a doo-doo start for you. But I agree with you. I've seen you do crazy stuff. I've seen you take worse.
Bill and I have the same views on recycling. I always need a lot of parts. He always needs to get rid of a lot of junk. We have a great relationship. You know, we're doing this dune buggy project, sort of like this body line in that it's a sedan delivery, like the other Ranchero I did for you. So we're thinking this camper shell.
I have another one.
So you have two that you didn't throw out.
Oh, yeah, well,
nice.
We can make a deal.
Told you this guy was cool. The second camper shell Bill showed us was way cooler.
There it is, as I remember.
Wow. Oh, look at this. Totally cool.
Here's that little...
Oh, man. That's the roof, dude.
Ian gets excited. And I'm like, what? Why are you excited? I'm not seeing it.
That's the thing. This is exactly like your drawing, man. Look at the little flipper details.
Yeah, for sure.
All those embossments we were talking about having to make, like the foam on the fenders, they're already here. It's perfect.
Yeah.
This is another perfect piece of trash we're gonna make into a show car. It's gonna be awesome. Sold, sir.
Regardless of Ian's plan of whatever the project is, Bill's just super pumped. It's gonna get out of here.
Bill's got a lot of cars and he loves to talk about them to his guests. There's this one in particular that relates perfectly to our project. So this is a Falcon sedan delivery. Same vibe with the roof line as what we're doing with our project.
So I walk up on this thing, oh man, it's sitting real nice and real low, but there was something definitely different about what it is or what it was. There's just something different about it.
Yeah, no, this car is full custom.
Yeah.
I took it to him with a donor car and told him put the front end on, back end, we're all good, clip that all on. Well, when I was absent, Ian cut this car right down in half, right down the middle.
We simply split the car in half lengthwise, widened it 8 inches, and put it on an entirely modern chassis.
Even from the early days of Ian building vehicles, it was never about sticking to the rules. Yeah, I'll do whatever it takes. Split a car down the center? Yeah, that's what I gotta do to get it to fit.
As you can see with that camper shell over there, it's the same vibe, you know? Basically, this style vehicle with the wild fiberglass fenders and everything else we got going on. I just can't wait to get back to the shop and show Johnny how this camper shell will transform into a panel wagon.
I don't know, man.
I mean, look at the roof from here. That's kind of your drawing, dude. So, I mean, it's wide, but we'll do it exactly like the Ranchero. Cut it right down the center.
It looks like it's gonna be a lot of work to cut that thing down though, right? I mean, that's a lot of pieces.
So it's simple math, right? So we come in here real fast, right? I see your visor here. We're gonna cut this off, that's gone. This bottom part's gone. This is canted forward, it's sliced through the middle, it's narrowed. Simple, right?
Yeah, that seems really easy to do.
We know right away this thing is way too big, so time for emergency surgery. I'm gonna whack this thing into shape and mock it up on the car.
And again, in Ian fashion, no hesitation, no pre-planning. He just grabs a saw. He didn't run a tape line. He just starts cutting.
Check this out.
And then suddenly, like the lines of the front of where he cut it and the back end start making sense. This might work.
King of the road. I think this is the move, man.
Yeah, I'm totally seeing it now.
Yeah, hands on the wheel.
Raked windshield, this cut back like that. That filled in. Plenty of room for the porthole.
I think it's gonna work.
I'm seeing it now.
The mock-up process is starting to take shape. You know, it's looking better every second. 2 key elements have been addressed. All that's left to do is everything. My main goal is to set up the entire side profile while Johnny's here. I know there's gonna be a lot of loose ends to tie up, but I just wanna get that inspiration cemented before he takes off. What I wasn't expecting with this spray foam is it's shrunk up considerably. See, it's lifting off the car.
Right.
You've heard the term surgical precision.
Right.
Well, this ain't that. We're gonna trim the shrubbery on this.
Ian reminds me that this is a pretty important stage that we gotta get the shaping right, because again, it's gonna be the underside of the fenders. And I'm over there with a saw just hacking away on it, and cross my fingers I'm getting it right. I don't know, man. This is, yours looks way better. So you might have to, yeah, there you go.
The thing about this is it's highly unrefined. So for someone as professional as Johnny, he's having trouble adapting to the situation, you know. You're thinking surgical precision, and I bring out these tools and they don't jive.
Pro? Not pro.
No, that's why they have different racing classes too.
Okay.
Secret sauce. Fiberglass is pretty simple in that you cut these mats to whatever desired shape you want, mix up some goo, slush it all together, and apply. We're building the underside of the car, so it looks super sloppy, but that's okay because we're gonna refine it. The whole idea is once we have some type of structure, we can start refining it, you know, and then playing on how it interacts with the rest of the body lines.
I've watched Ian do metalwork on stuff, and usually the results for the eye are really quick. This, it doesn't really look good.
Those are gonna set up, let them sit till tomorrow. Let's get busy on this. The whole thing about restyling a car, chop top, right? You're trying to make some kind of a statement of a flow of the vehicle. So this ain't no tail dragger, it's just some kind of funky nose down 70s freak machine. And the roof's gotta follow suit.
So Ian's like Dr. Frankenstein, and there's the monster, and I'm just Igor, just trying to not get in the doctor's way and be the best help I can be. Yes, master, whatever you want, master.
How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
The whole thing with this is just chop, cut, envision, you know? This is a really easy panel to set in place. It's the angle that counts. Chop top, camper top.
Super working.
Dude, this is it.
Who is that mystery man?
You know, I show up to a car show and I'm like, hey, thanks, glad you like the paint job. Yeah, I'll be with you in 1 second. Yeah, no, well, my friend and I built it. I mean, you've never heard anybody say, man, that car was so cool. Did you see how he entered and exited with such grace? I feel like this chop top look, we're on the right path. This is what the car needed. We gotta cut the back of that car off right now. I can't look at it. I can't stand to witness it one more second. It's gotta go.
We'll totally see the look that way.
Exactly, right. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's just figure out this opening, because this looks funny. Yeah, you can see how wide this is, you know? We know we're gonna have an opening to get in here.
Right.
Probably cut this up a bit. It's the old school guillotine technique, right? So this is your wall surface, and that's the line. Stick your neck out, and wherever that blade came down got chopped off. Exactly that, the guillotine technique. Strength. Aha. We have our pre-seasoned fiberglass panel. I was using this wooden panel as my mixing board for the fiberglass, and thusly it has become pre-treated with fiberglass resin. At this point, we're into the fabrication aspect of things, and that's where I excel. So I'm trying to keep Johnny in the game, you know? We get this thing colored all one tone, and I want him to draw the opening. I kind of know what I'm looking for, but I want to see where his head's at.
And now it's really starting to look like the drawing a lot. Frankenstein's monster is now starting to look like it's coming alive. Straight through there, and then back to the turn.
Like that. See? That wasn't so hard. That's how cavemen did it. That's it. We were doing the same body line, right?
Oh man, come on.
You nailed it.
Come on. Dude, that is cool.
That's it, man. Look at that. That's totally cool.
Right? Look, he's getting excited. Right?
So we're standing back looking at the car, and the dog is just like a wild man. He rarely shows this much enthusiasm at such an early stage of the project.
Love it.
Chop top camper shell.
Right?
We are on the right track here. We just got to keep this inspiration flowing. Work on the next. Johnny and I have 1 day left before he's got to hit the road. We got to make the most of our time and get this mock-up nailed.
I couldn't sleep last night, man. So I did a little homework. Let's see if the teacher approves.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Wow. Surprise to me, Johnny busts out another drawing, and this time he's gone for it. He's introduced a bunch of other elements. You know, the porthole I wanted is included. This is what I was hoping for the whole time. You know, this is Johnny in his element. Now that he's understanding the concept, he's able to take the proportions and just freak out on it.
My whole thing in my head was I just kept looking at the camper shell that we got, and the way you sat it in there and the way it's just evolved, and from that into, you know, just to give it a more visual of like what it would look like finished. So the great thing about Ian's collaboration with me is he's always pushing me to do better than I thought I could do. This drawing for me really was one of those moments. The color, you know, whatever you decide to go with color-wise, and then it reminded me of the Johnny 5. And remember how much the yellow popped in the sun?
For sure.
Like those three colors together.
Yeah. We're just in the concept phase.
Right.
I'll do all the freaking dirty work. That's what I needed. A good line to go off of. That is crazy cool, dude. Porthole and a sunroof. He's got some crazy moonroof, sunroof thing. This feature that shows an elongated window through the top of the roof. Oh man, that's so close. I wish we had this before we cut the top. We cut a half-inch too much.
It's in there kind of wonky.
Yeah, it'll work for sure. We're gonna cut a hole in the car anyway, but it's worth doing whatever it takes.
So do you gotta fill it in first, then put it in, or?
No, we're cutting it right now.
That's not gonna screw with the body line, we already?
Nope, whatever it takes to make this happen, that's what we're gonna do. When you have a good idea, you gotta act on it right away. You gotta feed on that energy and feel out if the concept's gonna work.
You know, Ian being Ian, he just pulls a Sharpie out and lays a couple lines down and starts to hacking.
This element will really help to define the rest of the roof line. Totally cool.
Right?
And I'll have to build that, but that's fine.
Yeah, but that totally works, man.
The porthole is a simple procedure, you know, just trace out your circle, cut it, and it screws right in. Pressure fit. Oh, look at the dimension once it's on the car. It's like a little moon. The one thing that'll set it off, like your drawing, is to modify that fender.
Yeah.
And we're off to the races.
It's gotta be done now.
Yeah, for sure. At this point, we're just trying to get all the lines in place, you know, get something proportional. And one big sore spot is these rear fenders. Something's got to change. All of your drawings, every one of them, you know, are showing this like up, down. It's a roller coaster, right?
Right.
Roller coasters ain't horizontal. Right. Not only do the fenders swoop up, they need to get widened and reshaped a bit. You know, it's all about the look. Because your drawing is showing this surface here.
Right.
So let's just cut, because we love this thing.
I do love that thing.
Let's just cut right through the flat and take this off. Aha! I was thinking something like that.
Oh. Wow.
That's just me. Now for the down drop, we can make it out of this and just wrap this in. We're not doing any welding on this project, man.
We're not mastering of any metals. This has been an arts and crafts project the whole time.
The main positive aspect of working with fiberglass is you get the mock-up really raw, and then you're able to solidify it with this really flexible material. So you can see the mock-up comes fast.
Yeah, man, the silhouette is totally there.
I think the biggest part of my future car building revolves around collaborating with an artist. Johnny's a great collaborator simply because we have the same aesthetic. You know, we have this love, this passion for those really far out show cars. There's a ton more work to do, so by the time you get back, you know, you'll see there will be a whole other adventure happening.
Right.
And, we'll be on to the next.
So I know I gotta hit the road, but I'm invested in this project. I plan to be in this thing from start to finish. Who knows what'll happen? Everything that we just did might go right out the window. Ian might come up with another idea. But all I know is at the end of the day, it's gonna be a badass machine. It's gonna look super cool, and I can't wait to get in it.
All right, after my collaboration with Johnny Jalopy, I took all of our inspiration, foam and tape, and fiberglassed it. I trapped it. After that, I went right on to this driver's side and refined it right through to finished primer. Did a couple cool elements of my own in the rear fender, and by finishing off the bodywork, I solved a lot of the questions I was having, but I also have a whole new can of worms with issues to refine. One of the main challenges, you know, back to front, it goes from this very flat, faceted shape and turns into these curved sort of fenders. It's flat, ridge, flat, ridge, flat, ridge, flat, 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 round. This is an ongoing issue. You know, I'll continue to refine this as the build progresses. There's about 50 hours into this bodywork as is. One problem I'm having that I didn't even consider was this free-floating roof thing. And I had to put in these temporary braces to keep it aligned. Those gotta go, but before I get rid of them, I gotta come up with some kind of structure to keep this roof from flexing anymore. My first idea was I would just support the roof somehow to the body in the front, but I will not compromise that floating roof boat windshield thing. Is too cool. One of his drawings showed this kind of cool center console that wrapped up towards this moonroof here. So I'm thinking that look, you know, could very well come into being as some type of a structural element. Of course, this element will be refined, you know, whether it's painted, upholstered, who knows, but you're going to see it, so it's gotta be super strong and look super cool. It's like a race car, you know? You get up, you're in the stadium, before you do your jump across the Snake River Canyon, you wave to the crowd, and then you're in. You know, ideally, just coming in naturally, I grabbed right here through the hole in the roof, so maybe that's the answer. It has some kind of a grab handle. See, you gotta squirm this way, and naturally you're wanting to grab something. Wave to the crowd, and then you're out. Like everything else I make, you know, I start with the envisioning procedure. I want it to support the roof, and I also want to create some kind of a grab handle that can support a person getting in. So, that's my loose mock-up. As you can see, the contours are following the look of the side profile. It's pretty cool, huh? Speechless. Make this out of 1.5-inch round tube and I'll bend it to spec. Good call? Is it a deal? He still doesn't seem convinced. Shortest description of what I'm using is the 2-inch round heavy wall tube and then like 1 3/4 heavy wall tube. It'd be easier for me to just bend these in separate pieces. That way, for length, I can just adjust it and weld it. It doesn't need to be certified. It's not a racing roll cage. He knows a racing roll cage should be TIG welded, stress relieved, all that other stuff. It's not a race car, man. Not named the shop inspector for nothing. It's like a Rolodex of specs that you have to adhere to. A stickler for detail. The issue I was having with this roof was it was going like this, left to right. So I think that this thing coming forward is gonna have a T-bar on it with 2 adjustable perches. Now that I see it in the car, this is the look I'm after. I need to set up a little extra support for some strength, and this thing will be installed. So you're gonna want the handle right there. The end game for the visual appearance of this is yet undetermined. Maybe there'll be like a center console that this element sprouts from. All I know is what I've accomplished has secured and centered that roof panel. So that's the story. I'm sticking to it. We've got this crazy looking contraption that is both a roof reinforcement and a grab handle. For those who have put their time in at the fiberglass prison, you know the process. And for the rest of you, it's about time you've learned. The truth is, there's nothing good about this material. From the start to the finish. In the end, it's still a fiberglass car. It's a miserable process. I don't know why anybody would repeatedly try this. So here I am, urging you to not try this at home. This is horrible. As tedious and laborious as it is, it's gotta happen. And I'm doing it for you. So it's important to see the process. Just like I did the driver's side, I'm bringing up the passenger side, but with a few different contours. The hard thing in these fenders, even when it was stock, was how this really flat rear fender blended into this rounder shape up front. And through time, the whole body's sagged down. I mean, if you compare this side to the other side, look, this is not vertical, this is pulled in. There's no way this would release from the mold. Aging sucks, quite frankly. So, I got this piece of PVC. This guide bar is gonna give me a nice new straight shot, and I can come off of all this is a new modification, the old repair, and everything. And I'm just gonna bury it in new material. These screws will be removed later. I just need them right here to adhere the fiberglass and keep everything in shape. Gotta lay up the nasty. This is the root of all evil. I don't know why they call it kitty hair, but when you look in there, it's a vile concoction. That just oozes personality. The necessary evil of a fiberglass car is you're literally working with the fiberglass. You've heard of the hair of the dog that bit you? This is a hair of the cat that itched you. I joke about how gross all these materials are, you know, the kitty hair, the fiberglass. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for this project. You know, the can says fills gaps and strengthens. That's exactly what we need. This process might look fun from the couch, but I assure you it's not. I know we're together for just this short time, but the process here is exactly what's happening throughout. And in any finishing detail, it seems like the more you do, the more you need to do to get to that end result. Coming for us. It's the paparazzi. They're on to us, man. Run. Kitty hair is like the one-step miracle cure for fiberglass work. It takes two processes, both the body filler and the fiberglass mat. You just slop it anywhere that needs support. And now it's time to put all that behind us and get on with the car finishing. Got through that fiberglass process, made a lot of progress. We are over the hill, into the finished bodywork stage. Inside and out, I flipped the car upside down, body filled and Duraglassed and fiberglassed and undercoated and all that other fun stuff. So, you know, the repair I was doing on this rail, when you're getting in and out of the car, you're gonna be on this, so you know, I made it thick. It's all spray foamed up inside and it's really strong. I'm really excited and relieved and pleased with all the collaboration thus far leading up to this. First things first, you know, every car needs a bumper, so I'm gonna get to work on that. The whole concept on this front bumper is stealth. I just want a neat little lip, you know, something bumps up against it, it'll hit metal instead of the paint. This tube bumper's super simple, but its placement is critical. You know, it's gotta support the look of that nose coming down. The width should be appropriate, and then just two bars to triangulate that should it run into something. That looks right to me. Hey, check this out. This looks so good. This would look great in the middle of the dashboard, don't you think? He's not having it. It's just gonna go right to the front beam and weld on, just like a buggy bumper should. So, that's the deal. One dune buggy bumperette. Very, very strong. That bumper's looking good. Now that we got that in place, it's time for the next and final step of the front view. I got these cool vintage KC units. They're off-road lights, but I'm gonna make them into headlights, you know, high-low beam. They go with that kind of groovy 70s thing, you know, you see them on choppers, you see them on trucks, you see them on dune buggies. They're all right. Now that I got the bumper on, I gotta get the headlights in place. You know, their positioning is critical to the overall look of the front end of the car. This car's got too mean of a nose to have those, you know, up in the air headlamps. So they're gonna be down in here somewhere. You know, the placement of these is pretty critical. Oh, a special delivery. He's arrived. I got a special delivery, and apparently it's arrived. We've got a little arrangement in progress. Oh my God, that's the coolest car I've ever seen. Holy Krakatoa. I knew that my friend Tom was on the way. I just really didn't expect him to show up with the rig he was driving.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. How's it going? Good. He said you were throwing it in your truck and coming by. What the heck is this?
It's a 77 Super Bugger.
You ain't kidding. Where do you even get one of these?
Back in 77, you could buy them right off the showroom floor at Super Campers.
Oh, man. It's too bad I was only 7 years old. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. This is possibly the coolest thing I've ever seen. What, how's the rear view? I mean, it's awesome.
I think I've gone through maybe 70 cars in the last 5 years, and out of everything I've owned, no matter how crazy it is, this Super Bugger gets more attention and looks than anything I've ever owned. It's just ridiculous.
I've just been outclassed. I might as well just quit. Everything I've ever done with VWs, it doesn't even compare to this. So how many of these things did they make?
I heard they made about 200, but we've only been able to find a handful of them.
I've seen the vintage trailers with this look, but
yeah,
this is incredible.
I've been into cars most of my life. My dad owned an auto parts store, so I grew up in the scene, and I've just been into everything, you know, stuff with the history, 60s, 70s vibe. It's just a crazy time period where they're building stuff like Ian's doing.
Just get in the camper.
Stove, your sink, your fridge, your water.
Oh, and an engine. So this looks expensive.
A little bit.
I put the word out that I was looking for engine options, you know, kind of anything goes, and he said, let me come down and show you what I'm thinking.
That's a 2332.
That's
full
big.
flow, deep sump, balanced, Dick Landy blower, and then it's got the dual 44 side drafts on top. Yeah, and that's putting out over 200 horse.
So this Volkswagen has two engines. I thought we were pulling it out of the back, but we're pulling it out of the middle.
Anybody could pull up with just a motor in the back of their truck, but I figure we could fit the motor in this somehow, pull out the table, move the seats out, get it in there, get it down here, and just surprise them with it. I figure you'd appreciate seeing all this and
yeah,
get a kick out of it. Cool, let's go check out the buggy.
Yeah, come on in.
Oh wow, dude, how cool is that? When I first saw the buggy, it totally exceeded anything I was picturing or imagining. It's actually way cooler than I thought it would ever look. If you see something you want, you know instantly, and that was instantly.
And I'm excited to see that engine here. You know, they pop right in.
I say let's mock it up.
Bring that bugger in here.
Yeah, let's get that in.
I am really digging the Super Bugger. I don't know where his head's at. If he's willing to do some trading, we could probably come to terms. This thing is totally cool. Man, what does the guy got to do to get this off your hands?
Oh, man.
You look burdened by this, so I'm trying to help you out.
I think I'm gonna need a dune buggy probably.
Yeah, that could be arranged. I gotta let the inspector check this out.
Oh, right on. Looks like I picked up a passenger.
He's gotta do the thorough inspection, man. He's gotta put his nose on all of it. First things first, we gotta get this engine out of the rig and into the dune buggy.
Wanted to make sure that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know. Wow. It's a little heavier with all this extra horsepower bolted to it. Aha!
There we go.
Look at that. Ta-da! This is like the king of mutants in the VW world. This is heavily modified, like it's full race. Every aspect of the engine has been modified for performance.
Let her down.
That is it. You can't figure this stuff out until you put it together, but the horns are pointing at the fenders. It's like it works. I gotta send this picture to Johnny. He's gonna lose his freaking gourd. Wave to Johnny. Perfect.
It was cool to see him, because I know he doesn't usually show a lot of emotion, and to see him just totally blown away by the overall look with that motor in there, I knew that was just gonna get the fire lit up and that thing was gonna be finished right away.
This project just got put in the slingshot and it's drawn and ready to fire.
I know I'm gonna get this car one way or another, but we'll do some horse trading. It'll be beneficial for both of us, and I'll end up bringing it home.
This engine was the missing link. You know, this is the thing, this is the impetus to get this car to the finish line. So I am just fired up. It's time to get freaking crazy on this.
Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel transforms the inside of a 1949 milk truck.
The whole concept with the interior of this is like pirate ship. I've been thinking about that for a while. I want it to be my dream shop truck.
But a simple shop truck isn't enough. Ian's got to take it all the way.
It's going to be modular. I want it to be able to convert from work truck to camper pretty easily.
So Ian rounds up a crew of mercenaries to help get the job done.
I hate being the brains of the outfit.
The goal here is finished interior. And it's like, who knows what could happen. Oops. There's always a problem. You know, the best laid plans, there's a statement about that. This is a 1949 International Harvester. It's a Metro van. It's pretty rare. This is a shorty model, so it makes it very desirable. These are big commercial trucks, so I say shorty because this is the shortest wheelbase available. I got this van because I want it to be my dream shop truck. This is like perfect. It's enclosed, it's a van, it's heavy duty, and there's tons of room inside. The whole thing about vans for me is the interior. It's all about what's going on inside. The truck's in primer right now, and I'm cool with that, but the interior's horrible. I love the way that this thing was set up from the factory. It's got this cool seat that tilts forward. I redid the bracketry on that, so you kind of just get in like milk truck style. I made all new steering column, foot pedal controls. The whole interior has been revamped. It's nothing like it was because it's so low now. I've done a whole ton of work on this van, but for any cool custom van, it's all about the interior. And if you want to have a party in here, this stuff ain't gonna fly. I gotta fix it. The thing I like most about this, it's just funky. You don't see them. I've had VW buses since I was 15. I've always loved them, and this is like a big brother to a VW bus. It's like the next bigger size. It's able to tow. It has a good V6 engine with a manual transmission. It's the same idea as a VW bus, but rarer and cooler. My whole concept with this is like a dual-purpose vehicle. During the week, it's a work truck, and on the weekends, it's a play vehicle. I want it to be able to convert from work truck to camper pretty easily. I got a couple ideas for this van. Getting started on the interior, I'm gonna go to this van show and just see what's happening. The van scene is kind of like a 1970s time capsule, right? It's like everybody's playing dress up. You got your bitchin' vans in a row. I mean, this is what's happening. My friend Don came along to this show. He's been into vans since it was happening in the 70s. I like vans because they're really focused on the interior. Sure, they got cool look on the outside, mag wheels, whatever, but it's all about what's going on inside the box. The wild thing about vans is it's just like ultimate self-expression. You can go in any direction. You see theme vans, fantasy vans, just anything goes. Seeing the van show was really cool, and it just got me inspired to get mine finished. Just to kick off the project, I really want to see the finished color somewhere on the vehicle. I've been looking at rust for way too long. I'm gonna bring in my friend Bob. He's a painter. I want him to just do the dashboard. Just give me some inspiration, Bob. Hey, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm having a hard time with the sander. Good thing you showed up.
That's what I'm here for.
Bob Gore's a fan of mine. He saw the first DVD we produced. It's going on 10 years, I think. It's been a while since we did that, and Bob has been on board ever since. He's come out a bunch of times to help me with my different projects, and here he comes one more time.
Ian's working on a project, and he could use my help. He said he could use my help, and so I thought he'd come out and work with him again. Every time I get the opportunity, I'd love to come out.
The main reason I call on Bob to paint stuff is because he's stoked. He's like gung-ho, he loves the projects I work on, and that's a huge asset. Instead of just dropping it off somewhere where somebody's ho-hum about the project, the dude comes across the country and nails it. That's commendable. I got this thing I'm trying to finish. I picked this thing up almost 2 years ago, and you remember my silver shop truck? Yeah. That's why I want to paint this silver, because this is my shop truck. This is the '88 GMC pickup.
Really?
I took the whole frame out from under it, so it's got the motor, transmission, front and rear axle, and I just put this body on it. So you know how reliable that truck was. Yeah. That thing was unstoppable, so I wanted to reuse it. So that's really what this is in essence. The only thing that's left from the original sheet metal is this nose section, the roof, and some portions of the body.
The way Ian had described it to me was nowhere near what I didn't expect to see what I saw.
This rear bumper is the front bumper from a F-150 Ford pickup. I made the license plate flip up, and then you have your trailer hitch hidden in there. So if you're gonna tow a trailer, it just goes in. The whole idea with this van is it's a keeper. I'm to the point in the project where it's all about cosmetics.
Is it gonna be the same color as the outside?
I think the whole thing's gonna be silver all the way through.
There's so much more body work that needs to be done to it. Instead of me painting the outside of the vehicle, he needed me to do some work on the interior.
So really, I'm working on fabricating this whole back end. I got a lot of framework and stuff to do, and you can see how crappy this looks. It's got this bitchin' glove box where you can keep all kinds of stuff up here. Yeah. But I just want to get rid of the rust. You know, it's all flaking off. So I just want to sand out pretty much from here down, just the whole front cab. Just got to get it base coated so it doesn't look like a haunted house in here. This was in a blueberry bush way up north, and somebody was living in this thing for years. See that hole under there? Yeah. There was a wood-burning stove on the dashboard. That's why the windows are cracked from the heat. And there was a chimney. Look, you see the hole going right through? There was a chimney that went out the top. It had signage on it that said like Andy's place or something. Yeah. See, all the windows were painted black, so some kind of hippie was living in this thing, and I needed to have it. Some ghosts or something.
Definitely got some patinas.
Yeah, right. I'm not going for that. So I think I'll get in here and pull the gauges and the switches out. That way I'll get the steering wheel off and you'll be good to go. So I'll just get all this crap out of your way. This is even the front seat from the pickup truck. Reused the whole thing. I gave Bob a little wish list, told him what I was looking for, and just go to work. He knows what he's doing. I guess he's gonna sand out everything, primer it, and paint it.
Normally, it would have been media blasted. It had so much patina on it from back in the day that he actually felt that it was a little too far gone to go to that extreme. So what we did was we just sanded it down and got it as ready for paint as best we could. And it still came out really good.
Spray it up. It'll be the same color as the exterior, that cool metallic silver. I really flip-flopped on color choices for this thing for a while, but I was looking through an Eastwood catalog and they had this silver metallic, and it just looked right. Ultimately, the whole van is gonna be this cool silver metallic color. Right now, Bob's just gonna primer it and then wait about an hour, I guess, and go right into the color and clear coat. This truck looks like a giant toaster, so I wanna paint it silver. The metal flake goes with the whole 70s van vibe, custom stuff. I just mellowed it out a little bit. I didn't go for the heavy flake, I just went for a metallic, but this color's cool.
As I laid it out, I could tell it was spraying really good. It covered nicely. I thought it was really good, but the most important thing was Ian was really happy with it.
This looks totally clean, man. I'm stoked. It's way better than it was.
All right, well, thanks, man. It means a lot.
Bob's paint looks great. I just needed a no-brainer, somebody come in and nail it, and that's what he did. There's a lot of fabrication to be done on the interior, a lot of wood and upholstery, so I needed to just get the dashboard painted and move on to this more challenging stuff. This van being dual purpose, I want to build a deck across the whole rear of it, so it's like a platform bed. It's going to be made out of angle iron, I think 2-inch. The whole thing is it's got to be strong and it's got to fold up. This is the start of the rear deck. The whole idea is these panels are going to fold up and become the walls of the van when you're in work mode. And then if you go camping or whatever, this is actually a big mat. It's a big bed you can sleep on. I'm going to work on fabbing up the structure out of angle iron. I came up with some material that could act as hinges, so Bob's gonna build the hinges and I'm gonna build a frame. This is a really simple barrel hinge design. It's just a solid shaft that fits inside of a collar. Bob's just cutting a bunch of blank pieces and making sure they pivot right.
Since we're fabricators and body men, we don't like to go to the store and buy hinges when we can make them.
So I thought we'd need 8, but 6 seems to do it. I just welded them right onto the interior structure, so once we cut this in half, the 2 sides will flip right open. I built one big square frame. My plan of attack was to just build it, cut it in half, and it should hinge. Turns out the van isn't square. Surprise, surprise. There's always a problem. You know, the best laid plans, there's a statement about that. Typical stuff. Oops, the van wall is angled in, and I had to go a little backwards. What do you think, dude? It's gonna be your nest. By angling the rear of this bed frame, it actually gives you way more room to sit in the back door, and it looks cool.
His work is always an inspiration to me, and that's why I love working with him and being involved with his projects, because you can never get bored being around Ian.
Let's just fit out the panels. We'll cut some wood pieces and we'll fit up the walls, and that's pretty much it for today. The next step is to sheathe this thing in plywood. It's all gonna be covered, it's just gotta be strong, nothing fancy. It was really cool to see this platform there, actually constructed. I've been thinking about this for weeks, and it turns out it works great. It hinges perfect, and it's super strong. I need some material for the walls. They're gonna be upholstered. I had a couple acrylic sheets, plexiglass. It'll work perfect. You could use pretty much anything. It's gonna be covered with vinyl in the end. I just cut it to fit and put a couple screws in it. What do you think, man? You need a couple bean bags, a few bongos.
Cooler full of ice cold beverages.
I really thought about how this was gonna work, and I decided by butting this frame up against the door jambs, when I lifted them up, they were gonna clip into place, and it worked. Every one of my projects involves a lot of just winging it. Standing back looking at this, I'm really stoked with the little V shape in the rear, the seating area. It looks great. This is just the first step. The goal here is finished interior. This is gonna be a real challenge.
I'm really enthused about getting to work on it, and I'm really glad he did this project, you know, for himself. You know, it's something really, really nice.
I got a few different concepts for the interior of this van, and I'm thinking fancy pirate ship. Something really deluxe, kind of boat feeling. My buddy Jack's an upholsterer. I've worked with him on a bunch of projects, and I'm gonna go to him for some advice.
This will be one color though, huh?
I think
Are you
so.
gonna make this?
Unless you do the piping with a nice...
Yeah, we'll do it. We can do that in a lighter color, or like you said, silver maybe?
The truck is silver, so I'm gonna leave it up to you. Surprise me. How about that? I'm open for whatever.
This, you can run the seat belts.
No seat belts, no safety. It's 1949.
Oh, you don't need them.
It is what it is.
Yeah, you don't want that there. That's ugly. Yeah, I'll have it done.
Perfect. Thank you,
I'll
sir.
have it done by dinner.
Perfect. I'm a resourceful guy, so my plan with Jack was to just have him give me a shopping list. I was gonna go out and get all the stuff he needed. I need to buy like 20 yards of vinyl, 10 yards of carpet, a bucket of spray glue, interior panels, the whole 9 yards. So if you got the spot, let's take a ride.
Well, we'll go up there and I'll show you what they have.
He's got the skinny on the cheapest fabric in town. So we went to this place here in the valley. It's awesome. They've got all kinds of foam, every type of fabric. It's like full industrial supply house. They got everything. I walked into that place and I didn't know where to start. I mean, I was charged up. It's like, this is men's shopping at its finest. Oh yeah, that's like headliner.
Material, all different colors.
Maybe I should just do it in this. Jack showed me around all the different samples of vinyl they have. They got a million different foams. So he just kind of directed me to the least possible expense and the best quality for the money. This is pretty much how I roll. Show me to the dismembered packages. I want the interior of this van to be dim, kind of like a cozy bar you might want to spend some time at. I'm thinking like oxblood, dark, red, burgundy, something like that. But I love contrast, so I want like a light tone to offset it. I found exactly what I needed. I just got to get back to the shop, finish up the walls, and get on to the final upholstery. So all I did on this was just went through just as efficiently as possible. I put in gussets on every join. I put in a couple extra braces, and I added these few tabs. If you could see, it the way it's sitting. I only wanted to have one post in the middle, right over the airbag arch, but that lets the whole thing flop around pretty bad. I made a removable brace that supports the floor. It just pops out, and when you close it, it adds extra support. I gotta clean all this stuff up, get the rust off. It's recycled material, but I just made this little brace that actually clips into the back of that bed. I did a front one and a back one. You can see how it's gonna go. All you do is set it in little clips. Just pop it in the shape. So that's really tight fit, but I think once I sand it and stretch it out and bounce it a few times, it'll get better. Dirty surfboard. It shows you I need to go surfing. Look at how dirty that is. I don't remember the last time I went. But now that I got my van, I'll be able to go. So the whole idea is you got your bed there, and then all that free space under the bed, just got your surfboard on. How's that sound? That sounds great. Wow. Damn novice surfers, they don't even know how to put their board in the truck without scratching it. It's all right, now that I got my van, I'm gonna be a local. Before I get started on finishing this thing, I'm gonna put all the wiring in. That way it's hidden, clean, out of the way. Got this bitchin' wiring assembly from Painless. Apparently it's everything I need. Pretty simple. They tell you right on the wires what they do. The whole idea with this is they're gonna be hidden under the carpet. I don't want them outside underneath, and you'll never have to mess with this. This is all brand new, so you can see everything is pretty straight ahead. This guy's gonna go up where the old one was. And the engine stuff will turn around and go right through the firewall, and then the interior wires will come around, go up to the dash, and then come back to the taillights. These are simple trailer lights. They look pretty ugly when you see them on trailers, but I made this whole surround and kind of Frenched them in, so it gives it a whole new look. In the end, you just get this cool round tail lamp. That's all you see. They look kind of old school, you know? Whew, that was the easiest wiring job I've ever done. This interior thing is something that I'm really looking to have more experience with. I've done a bunch of stuff, and each time it gets more complex. The hardest part for this van, to me, is gonna be the rear quarters. The whole thing will lay out pretty easily. It's the corners that are gonna be such a problem area. It's a really hard shape to make out of flat sheets of material. So to me, that's like the pride of this whole interior, is creating these corner panels. Jack explained a couple ideas on how he would have done this. And I guess he takes a series of paper slats and creates this shape and glues them all together. I don't have any paper, so I'm gonna try to do the same thing out of metal. We'll see how it works out. Trying to take a flat sheet and make a dome out of it is really hard. It could be done with metal, you know, it's just gonna take time. This idea of layering these pieces, you are overlapping them, kind of like a lobster tail, or if you see like a metal glove in like a knight in shining armor, the way his fingers actuate. Same concept, it's just a number of layers overlapping to create a compound curve. This van had a huge amount of rust repair, so I saved the walls. That's just what I do. I replaced both walls on the van, I saved the old panels, and now I'm gonna reuse them. The main reason I decided to use steel is because I have this slip roller from Eastwood, and I knew I could just cut a few strips and roll them right into shape. This is a slip roller. The idea is it takes sheet metal and makes coils out of it. The idea is there'll be a series of these that overlap each other and change their angle, and then I'll trim it all back. So the first step is obviously this one right here, because we want it to be bigger than the rest. My whole process in everything is just figuring it out. You know, point A to point Z is in a zigzaggy direction. These rear corners are pretty challenging, but I feel like it's gonna work out. The hardest part for me was figuring out how all these pieces were gonna come together in this compound curve. Once I had the top and the bottom panels in, I knew filling in the rest was gonna happen. I used a whole bunch of screws to hold this thing in place. I tack welded it and really just finished it off with the hammer until it looked as smooth as I could get it. So you can see this side is the overlaps. It's not that big a deal. There's still plenty of room back here. And I could have gone about this like 100 different ways, but this took about 20 minutes and I used up some scrap metal in the process. Just trying to figure some stuff out. I don't know what more to say about it. I'm told that this foam will stretch to the contour of this. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to put 2 layers of foam in here because I'm trying to make it as smooth as possible. I don't want it to look faceted or choppy. The whole idea with my plan of attack is that 2 layers of foam and then the headliner material should smooth out all the rough edges. And we won't know until it's all glued up. I got this spray adhesive that works like paint. You put it in a spray gun and it works like magic. It's super strong, it stinks amazingly, and it's a lot of fun. I cut out the headliner material, glued it up, and it's time to put it on. We'll see what happens. There's something about the way I work, it's just I go increasingly faster. As soon as I'm comfortable with something, I just move on it, and I think that's how I'm so productive. The way that this glue setup and everything has come together, this is happening.
So if you look close, you can see these lines through here. In an effort to minimize that, I'm gonna put one more layer of foam on.
Definitely better than it was when it was a piece of metal, that's for sure. This is the headliner material. I'm gonna use the end of the roll in case I mess up. This stuff's a little dirtier than the rest of it. Some kind of material laminated to the foam on this headliner, so it might stretch differently. Everything worked out with the foam and the upholstery. It's time to put it in and see if it actually looks right.
See, it's a perfect corner. That is deluxe.
After I got this quarter nailed, I was excited to see how some vinyl looks next to this headliner material. I took the piece that surrounds the rear door and started with that. I put it in the sheet metal brake. It seemed like it fit perfect, so I went ahead and glued it, foamed it, and then went to the vinyl. The whole issue with this process is once you've glued up the vinyl, it's like a giant sticker. So if you fold it wrong, it's ruined. I don't know if you ever used a sticker that big, but this is pretty daunting. I just kind of felt it. I don't know, I used the force. I went out of my body for a moment, looked at it from 6 different angles, and committed. All the fabric I'm putting in the interior is pretty much a background tone. I really want the wood that I'm using to be the highlight. My friend Nate, he's a cabinet maker. He's an expert in his field, and I'm gonna have him help me design the dashboard.
Hey Ian, what's up?
Working on getting this dashboard situated.
Right.
See all this stuff I'm building out in wood, it's pretty simple, but I need something really cool. I know you're a cabinet maker, and I want to do something that's really special. Like you walk in the door, and this is the main entryway.
Right.
The whole concept with the dashboard is going to be like a wood structure. I wanted to have cup holders, lights, bells, whistles. This is the focal point of the whole interior.
Okay, cool. So we want to go like an old school van, used to have the cup holder in the middle, except larger version type
Exactly.
of thing.
See, the engine's under here, so the whole thing is just gonna sit in somehow, not fasten down. That way I can still get to the motor. I could just take this thing off.
Okay.
But I'm thinking like these dimensions, you know, this kind of angled shape, about this tall, and really the sky's the limit.
Well, I'll sit down and draw a few versions of it for you, and I'll come back and we can discuss it some more and go from there.
I don't even think you have to draw me a version.
Really?
I think you should just build it. I know you got kind of an artsy thing going. You're a musician. I hear you guys next door. So just like build your cup holder, man. Build something you think is badass, and I'll use it.
And you can hear us next door?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't even need to use the radio. Cool, man. Well, I'll be here. So let me know. Thanks.
After going to that van show, Don has not stopped talking about his old ride. He's got an old Dodge van in the back lot, and he's been doing nothing but talking about getting that thing back on the road.
I bought it from a neighbor probably 10 years ago. He had it for many, many, many years.
The whole concept was get all the mechanical stuff back in order, give it a good cleaning, and put it on the road. But we just started digging through it, and we found some really interesting artifacts.
Did you see the book that was in this?
It's still got some magic.
This was inside. This is the real deal. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Whoever owned this was definitely a van head. He's got custom van books, all kinds of owner's manuals. I mean, this dude was on it. He was all about the van. Don's van is really a time capsule. It's the way it was built in the 70s. You know, you're pulling stuff out of this van, and it doesn't happen anywhere else other than the 1970s, Van Nuys Boulevard. It's cool, man. Let's get to it. The cool thing about Don's van is I wouldn't change a thing. You know, looks like it was done in the 70s, and that's why we didn't want to change it. You know, I would drive this thing every day. This van was pretty crusty. The one redeeming factor is there's no rust. You know, this thing was sun-dried, but I think that was the saving grace. It's got the shaggiest of carpet. This thing's a disco inferno. I think one of the reasons this van was parked was because the exhaust manifold was broken. You don't know that until you start it. Cast iron exhaust manifold's a pretty challenging weld. We're choosing to arc weld this manifold because Don has these nickel electrodes, and that's the proper thing for welding cast iron. You got an arc welder and the right stuff. The whole thing about arc welding is there's no gas like in MIG welding. There's no wire that feeds, so you're literally just burning the electrode, and then this coating on it is the flux, for lack of a better term. But it works on cast iron. It was a good thing that the manifold needed some attention because it ended up putting new gaskets through the intake, the exhaust, you know, right out the back. Everything's freshened up. Runs great.
No smoke?
No nothing.
Well, let's drive it.
The big charge in helping Don out with his projects is, you know, these are things that he totally loves. That's why he has all this stuff. And seeing each one come back to life is really rewarding. You know, you see his eyes light up because he remembers when it was actually working, you know, and here he is right back in it. Don's stoked. He's like Mr. Van in 1969 all over again. I think it's bringing him back a few decades, and he's feeling good. So this whole vinyl interior thing is coming together pretty cool. All the panels are pretty much mocked up. I just have to do this last one and then skin the doors. I've made panels that fit inside every area that's going to be exposed. Got that board with foam and vinyl on it. So it's got the dashboard. I think the silver paint works great with this dark burgundy color. I'm really stoked. It just makes it look luxurious. The whole concept with the interior of this is like pirate ship. I've been thinking about that for a while. Something kind of classy, boat inspired, definitely outlaw. That's the whole van thing. I just thought I might put some kind of a nicer finish rolled edge on this thing so it doesn't just look like a hard square, but when I was buying this material, I bought a wrong piece. And this one must be like for a doorstop or something. But I think it'll work perfect for that rolled edge I was looking for. I'm doing what I can with what I got. Interior dudes can go off on this thing and spend a year on the interior. You know, I'm trying to do something that's feasible for this work play vehicle. So the whole idea is that this fabric just makes a little bit more of a presence on the front edge. See that? This looks a little more rich. Definitely looks cool. Got an idea. These doors are pretty rough, and to body work and finish them, to paint them would really be a huge time-consuming process. So I think I'm just gonna glue vinyl over them. You know, so far, anything that needs to be bitten, licked, or chewed on, he's like all over it. I couldn't ask for a better assistant in the licking and chewing department. Come on. It's time for glue, and you know what that does to you. You lose all your composure. this looks really great. I love the way the dashboard came out. Yo.
Hey Ian, what's up?
Hey man, what's going on? What do you got?
Hey, you know, you kind of left the artistic impression up to me on this thing, and
yeah.
I'm a firm believer in recycling anything and everything I can get wood-wise, especially when it comes upon, you know, some good hardwood. So
exactly the channel we're on here too.
And this is Ipe wood. It's from South America. They use it on decking a lot. And what this is a piece of handrail that came off a deck that was redone. So I got 3 or 4 pieces of this, and I was thinking that we would use this as the cap for the handrail on that thing.
Nate stopped by, showed me this recycled piece of wood that he has, and it's gonna work out perfect. Yes, I'm totally down with that. That sounds great.
Cool.
So what you're saying is that this will actually be the cup holder in here?
Yeah, we'll drill right into the top of that and create your cup holders.
Okay, you got a plan.
I got a plan.
The roof skin is the largest panel. It's the biggest challenge in the whole deal, especially because it's hanging upside down. It's got to be screwed together right, and I don't want it to buckle or look lousy. Because the roof is hanging upside down, there's a pretty good chance for it to warp because all the pressure point is hanging on the screw heads. I put some metal strips along each side of the panel that should help give it strength. All this is a hemmed edge. You can see is a sheet metal panel that comes around the edge. That way it's just a lot stronger. This is a pretty simple scenario. You have your backing board, you glue some foam on, glue vinyl, and staple the backside. It leaves a pretty generic looking panel. I got this idea that's gonna spice it up a bit. Got all these wooden slats. I think it offsets the color pretty cool. They're gonna be roughly a foot, 16 inches apart. The whole idea is the strips go lengthwise down the sides and the roof. It just makes it look cool, I don't know. There's gonna be wood strips every 16 inches. I mean, there's gonna be wood on the roof, there's gonna be wood on the walls. I might even put some outside, maybe even wooden rims. That would be ridiculous. The devil's in the details, just getting the rest of these interior parts installed. Got to give respect to all the guys who do interior stuff. This is a very simple design, and it's really a workout. You may ask yourself, how does one guy hold a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet on the ceiling? Don had a pile of firewood, so I screwed a piece of firewood to a 2x4. Got to adapt and overcome. It's the only way. This is what I'm thinking. If I sit here, and then I stick this right here, it holds it up. That's using your hand. One of the last things I need to do on this van is probably the most gnarly. I gotta cut the glass, and it's like, who knows what could happen. In an effort to do everything myself as usual, I decided I was going to take on the challenge of cutting the glass, and it has proven to be quite an art form that I'm not very proficient in. I thought that cutting this glass would be a pretty good challenge, and it has been. I made templates for all the windows. This is the windshield, basically a mirror, driver's side, passenger side. I bought a huge sheet of glass, and I've been slowly but surely destroying it, trying to learn how to cut this stuff properly. There's a plastic laminate between 2 panels of glass. That's what this safety glass is. So the plastic is pretty tough. The idea being when the window breaks, it doesn't shatter all over you. The way you cut the glass is you score both sides with the glass cutter, crack it, and then put some flammable liquid. I was using denatured alcohol. You light it on fire and melt the plastic. The guy at the glass shop didn't want to do this job for me. It's part of the reason I ended up doing it. He had an issue with an employee who spilled the denatured alcohol all over himself and didn't realize how flammable it was. You don't want to light yourself on fire. There it goes, all by itself. Ta-da! So the last step in this whole process is finishing off the edges. You want to pretty much polish them because any imperfections in the edge could cause a stress point, which will crack the glass in the end. Found the easiest way to rough out the shape is with this diamond wheel. It's for cutting tile. Has like little pieces of diamond fused onto this metal disc. But if you just write about it, it works pretty efficiently. Getting the glass in was the last thing. Now this thing's weather tight. Interior's in, the van is ready to roll. The van's together. I got the airbags in, it's a driver. The big secret it's hiding is it's my old work truck. It's a 1988 GMC pickup truck. From the radiator to the gas tank, I modified the whole thing and put this international body over it. So it drives like a modern vehicle. It's got a Vortec V6 with a manual 5-speed. Airbags all around, it's a bitchin' ride. I got the seats back from Jack. They look sweet. It was his whole design with these stitched ribs and the grommets. I saw a seat he had there, and it translated perfectly to these two shapes. I chose this kind of oxblood color vinyl for the interior because I just thought it would look rich. You know, the exterior of the van is pretty mellow, but when you look inside, it's pretty special. My friend Nate made this cool console-like bar thing. It's just one of the things when you walk in, it's the focal point. You know, it's a really nice piece of furniture. This thing is immaculate. It's better than anything I could have made. I spent a lot of time on the structure of the fold-down walls. I wanted them to be very usable, so this whole hinge and steel mechanism I came up with has proven to work well. The whole concept with this van is its usability. You know, it's not a show car. So the back is set up to load and carry whatever, or you can hang out in it. That's the whole idea with this. It's a utility vehicle. One thing to work by yourself, but a project like this, it couldn't come around this quickly without some help from some good friends.
He works outside the box so much. I don't think Ian's ever seen the inside of the box. He has no limitations. You're never going to see an end to his creativity. His creativity is what he feeds off of, and that's the best fuel for any fire anybody could ever have.
I saw a quote, it was attributed to Jerry Garcia. It said, you don't want to simply be the best at what you do. You want to be the only one that does what you do. And really that, you know, it's kind of something I've just stuck in my head.